no kokwasa bia bomodin asa 6 to 6 a ye ne frenchim sana alabe hu ye affordable no na watumi agina so de ehira ye nyina ntia no pay ye na ne muzrami fo nyina mema mu nyina eno kra minim sare meka nafa mo fa ncheme sementumi anka ne se meka no a aha o maka cha mo se Ramadan Karim to yeah ana no pay ye hie ye bedin komose na wonim no dwumadi ni din aye critical issue ye dwumadi ye yahyehyɛ sɛ de beboa ye benya benfo na nimdefo a omo nudie ewo de bedwendwene ho no ho ayo man kyekere ayo man kanko ye beka ne se ne sitie ye nye ne se ofa de sinanti nkuro ye bemia amanawu na mgye ni sen kakra kra nyina to adwunu wo fie bebia wo bia na se de ye kan situmi eka ne den na ye mpanyifo no tia ebeboa ma siesie bia so wo ye bia no wo matumi aye ntia no pay kame ho na me fa asidama specialist nsu a me da no pa bia obukura yemu specialist de wo mu de da nsu krugen papa ahoden wom sanso na special drink ni flavors no wo ho pa na nyabotre nche me start a kyerɛkyerɛ wo ma bi special drink o mama hu se drinker e woto amu a ye nom a Ghana ha no special drink ene number 1 asembi tira me kanisa berepam bedi ho dance mama hu na first drama the almighty this way chocolate drink and then a coffee drink this way there your friend is share say this way ma anke nim se de sitie sanso na need fufu need abekwan so boaye pa simanum na fufu ready e twan e posim na fa be no so de no so de eno nti so mo bedi fufu ofie ene abekwan ofie a need fufu need abekwan eno na me kamfo de amamu na no pay se munsumwe na ebeboa yie pa ena no pay koma ebedi ni tia wasete sansa na abejifo betena se me adi nkomo no ensema beka wasam no be mampani state of the nation address de bedi hu nkomo pa esanse eye asam a ehu hia yie papa na fe point ahodo obobo so ni nyina no yeso ye nyabre na yaka ho asam na mo nso botumi akyere madwene nso ewo ho afa no achi ye bekasa e de afa bank center clean up no last 2 weeks ye bo Alhaji Seidu Agongo wono na eye pani akofare bai e de ma Heritage Bank mutie na kosam enne ye bobo foforo nso de aka ho Captain retired Prince Kofi Amoaben UT Bank wono saka na kosam nti ene ibeyi ne mati ono anu asam na yagina so de nkomo no na fa no achi nso no ya baba hwe se yesika sam se de city na no so far be ye economy ni pa nti ene abefo beba mu no wa be papa post kasam tutie mu Bank of Ghana governor hofra yi no mampani mahama ahye no so hwe na o man sika sam se nyina ono so agye to ma hyebo se oben ni saa niema hodro ben na ewo ho a eso tumi yede boa ama sika sam tumi gina nti ene Dr. Siama a oye governor Bank of Ghana wono so ye yi no ene ne bosha wahye so oboboa ma sika sam tumi gina no eno se bedi ho nkomo esense no so ya asam a ehia yi papa na ansa na no ya wada no be kan se mi ofie ha se adwuma ko bi omo tankers ene trucks a ayo omo de fa oil now omo evade tax to the tune of over $8 million. $8 million US dollars. Ye nyina nim se sika de chechiro man. Samba kaya somewhere 2023 because sembi ofi ha say company sakese tu oil organa ha no. Etu ese so omde magana fo no, wo muntua. Etu ese mutua ma yen eye corporate tax no. They don't pay. A huge sums of money. Sankom tu ese sika nanka me fanke yenko. Now so yempanifo a edi anim ade kokoasa so mo hyeda no mo ne oye companies ni e ba ko sedan yu sika se so mutua no muntua na ene GR de asam no court na ochina GR within one na GR krona sakwatwa asam na bafie obtwa asam no bafie no na adwumakuo no de kwa arbitration ewo UK no man Ghana assign aboka over $118 million na yakọ file and documents ewo UK arbitration court wo na adwumakuo na hunu say o bedi nkugo na o mo de asam no kwa arbitration no wo ma asan twe esa de abafie say yemeka Ghana ha ehun sam say ya ana ya nte hwe biu na ban sesai na ba fufure ba ye nso no questions be bro we be safa that particular issue no we need money to develop the country yes e kada chechiro man no itanya nkwankwa bi pesa bi nkuminya anya nkwankwa bi potwa wo mo so anya nkwankwa bi ene bre ene sese ye so eye Ghana first. Last 2 years I saw me sorry. Me the whole documents in actually. Court processes in any court in some me the whole in actually. And documents in actually. Not a single person. I no can say you are bemu sabrenity be 2 1 amon say na be ya sika de be je. Obi akwa no akwaje ne de na obetena sidi. Na ba foforo be nso no. Me ni de chiri person say niema bi ahyase eboboba. We need money to develop the country. No matter the government party in power, no, say the thing never can sabe pepe. It's a company here, almost for oil, you know. They need to pay the tax. It's simple as ABCD. It's so much here. It's so much here. Yan tatas ankrofo no. Na ankra. Gana fo a omo ye business nketen no. Ne de adwe nyina begu omo so. No more business collapse. Meanwhile, millions of dollars now baby a see to me no and you can't want to because to say obi be kwakọ je $100,000 bi. Obi binya $150,000 bi. Obi binya $200,000 bi. And uti say sika no I know so anke say to me ba na de chichiro man no ya dwene nko. Last Thursday me bobo na car na number bi ni nema bi. Be say national security for at the tank na be sia be link bi. Na ye di akire publication bi ba I was issue no. Every detailed document bi ano e wo ho. Enti publication e be ba. Ye hwe nipa di oman na bro. Ye hwe nipa a wo mo nyina oman no ho nti no, ye ntumi nkoye ni mu no. Ye be hu ni nyina. Edu ba bia na nkwankwa bi so be nti na Ghana ye mobo. Ghana ye janka. Ankanya ni wo say yete Ghana those days me kai adwura farms eburu afi adwura farms ba anya sam ketwa and be no ka say 2024 national best farmer na oye former council of state member representing the Ashanti region so penny no kwa eburu a oye no every year no have no idea na so sen say o man ani mmere yenti no ono no de ne bodembo e na oye no electricity mpo e da kwane farm ohun former Greek minister no pe president edi be hu be high tension wo enti mu de na be srem say mummu ase na be menya transformer na matwe power na ba farm so e sense wo si dan makomako 30 e wo afuom ho e da man workers enti such a person so man so na se a what to me nya broya mane mua ma Burkina fo ense ba won ye mamo mefa we no obutu mu yesu dwe enso o kan wanya minim se akuafo dodo no anso last scale farmers organ ha no obunya ya nkombe ye ne kakrakapa na so sense obunya mu afia ban bia ho ntino na atukaso omo modern bon kakra na sane de chichiro man I don't think so. Enti new administration ye hwe ne ma bi pa ye de ani to foma hwe se anamo bi a ye ntuye enti odi o mana bedru ha no ye betu ama ya reverse sa ne mana na ese se ni wu se Burkina fo de letter beba se Ghana fo mo mefa yi bia beans ewio ne sa ne mana no mamo ma mefa Burkina Faso enya ni wu anya ni wu common cabbage na cabbage kofi Burkina sa na ye nya bi adi wo Ghana ha ye de ye wo ha no enso nti no ehye kofa bi wo Burkina na ye de ba nkuruma na ekotogo bako na ekotogo anya ni wu nti saban so be research na I say watching ye hwe pa say research na be adwuma na ansa na me soro so na ye di nkomo no bedwafo beba no I don't think say your leaders no sometimes some dwene ye ho because some dwene ho pan kan maybe one common ye from and someone and I say from Ofanko barrier to Nsawam and I say from Pokuase to Nsawam and I say from Amasamai to Nsawam bonne yeah the 24 years Kufuor by when we Mercy by when we Mama Doma 1 by when we Kufuor about when we Mahama Sanya baby from Ofanko barrier to Apija Junction 24 years into me nyen Kasa enam Nsawam from Amasamai to Nsawam no just say mo bokeke basa kwankuro ya de politics organa ha na fa kwani ya yo na Nsawam kwani ya yo na ya tier 4 tier 40 or 70 na brofa tintina achinye hunu kwani na nje ne se wo ho no why are you doing this ukọ Fanko barrier park bi wo ho bebi o school no wo no sa park no kwesi ada bra ho na nkwala bobo ho na amrache bobo ho na mo ye just before the election 2024 eno mo betutu ho nyina so mo be astrotef ene mrante nya bo mo ho bio mo tutu ho astrotef no so amanye amena no so a mo ansi no eno mo ase asase da ho does it make sense ade a wo tumi nye esan politics nti no gidi makotutu wo nyina amena make say okọ Fanko barrier just after the Shell filling station obenkum so wo no obi antumi nye bibia wo bio does it make sense I mean okaso be kan semni bia be kan ma ebedu baby no yes okasa dodo but that's the reality wona monkan ba bia street light nya adwuma former Greater Accra Regional Minister for your friends there be before Titus Herikoti obeka kire yen say yenya about 20,000 street bulbs a yade bebu bolti nkra be krogen wa fa mo no koi minua enso baaye no Titus Glover baaye no okay the same thing yahu street light no ono so ko why it is omo de edi agoro bi omo de yehu fawo omo fa nya hwe ye beka ye kan anya kuro bi atumi nkasa why anyway mama mfansia na me enton sanfra ma bedwafo so omo ba ye betena se ne yedi nkomo na nsema me kan ye no ya hyase ahwemu ensam ye bobo ira retired captain retired Prince Kofi Amoaben enkane kwanchefo pani oda UT bank no na kosam na fe yewi a ye de hu nkomo na fe de aka ni nyina no ye de aka ho ti mo ntwen na ye ntwen ho mra ye ba ye be hyase Awie ye kwaya yaba afebedwafo ye krado ntia nche be hyase edi nkomo na ansa na no matade ehye me eye perfect man for ne pam ede hye me nti usu pebia obetumi anya eye up and down obese up and down eye kama pa designs awudo bebre sizes awudo bebre ene colors bebre nti kwa eye front of pam san udu ho a pegya ode apapam na wo na wo sen no wo na wo kokra na wo no bia ni asem ha ti na eno no nansa na no ma me ene madofu bi atwam de but entwa mu sa o ma woda atwam na so nsentwam sa me di kankan no peace boso ewo sunyan ono na saloon a friend peace and love beauty salon ene dia do na friend peace na na woda 25th no enti peace awa udin ene honam se awo ena wo ye pani anase wo na peace and love salon na wo sunyane directly opposite the municipal hospital no e wo dia no anopay me mawo belated happy birthday. You know say ye pewasem ye do pa said ye tie no ye ne sama ya bribia ti peace wo sunyane peace and love salon e wo sunyane opposite the municipal hospital no anopay yema entirin kwapa afei oya mere say menu aba say me sister me bibia say me mame Evelyn Chirema owo sunyane asufu ma ya na yefre no ono so ne de na twam last month nti ma ya we de wura oya makonta say menu a na afei wo mane nyina ene wunua no mu nyina ye nyina say yema wontirin kwa montirin kwa kosoa na ye mame ma ye nyina sa ti ma ya sa ne frɛ wo na so di ankasa eye Evelyn Chirema a wosunyane asufu anopay me ma wache echia wo papa pa e ma montirin kwa mu entirin kwa pa ewie ena nopay se me di kankan ye no abedwafo abeka mensa na ye bedi kan abo tape bi na ye di hu nkomo na february pamu no sona state of the nation address mampani Muhammad Dika oka ho nsam no so no ye nya bre na yaka ho asam na empanyifo abeka mensa ye bedi nkomo no me wo Dr. Etuahene ye kana semi ye kaskasa mututu ya wa ben papa na yɛde na di djuma wa hada ona nasa wo se pempi yesi ni pe anope o ye magic kakra bi wa o because o ye very disciplined enti doc wa ha eno achi nso no be say Dr. John Kwachi eye penia ye ka sikasam tutu ya wa ben pa wa ye djuma IMF so many years, Bank of Ghana so many years. Ti kasa mututu ya wa ben papa. Ana fi menua Honorable Michael Ochirbeafi. Wono New Job in South na sebedwani Koforodua New Job in South na sebedwani ye sha wo nkele nyo wo je shon enti akire no so ye beka ho asem. Enti madam panifo ye de akire mu yi na mama o makwa ba awie no. Yenko na yentie interview a yene Dr. Yura Amwaben boy UT Bank on no epani ano da no na nsemo kan na ewia na fe mpanyifo e de o manu di semo atokeka ho na fe yato aso ntimo nhwe video no Captain yamawo akwaba eja esa ma ontiri kwanso say na what twe mu na wie na I'm say last Saturday
yeah
and na wunya how many years
Edo Sumiensa
73 years.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like 73.
Yankopo adaroma. Ene ni hira nko a.
Enti ebreben na ebe a wadwene mu. Ede na ebe a wadwene mu se ebia obi a wo ye business, me bia we waye na wan to aso anye. Na wo divert se oba be ye bank. Breben na ebe a wadwene obi ni tuofo na e wa wadwene.
Me question pa because we trum say enra na see. So business am be ntinde bia na me hieska.
Okay.
Na wa ya chichi business na akwa kodu bebe na akwa bank no. Yeah, there was a business and I feel so. It happened so many times. One instance, we called my bank, because me here 20 million OCDs, which was about $20,000. And I'm saying the cry conditions, one container, I had an order, no mass supply, emergency can make your bank. It was very, very clear. Bank no delay me up and down for about 2 months, if not more. But one day catch me so Kofi Brabra you request I who be amount. But they need we could do bank wow. We have paid 20 million. And they crack a container set. No approve 3 million.
Cool.
We were who be bunsu for you. That time not be a young man, me tell someone say. That no we close a bank account. The deal be all what them from MD to yeah. So some me find that thing and a few on me. The contract be we Guinness be no be. Dream home. But the one Nigeria and say bank for no more in there. So be anti me loan. Me a chartered accountant. Me a retired army officer. My business based 15 years. Me what die am dey akwa collateral. Me dey me need there. And him for the more bossing. Na ne bi ka tell me say na bossing abono. So wonu so be anya there. So betin abobi. To me so am say no. And say sa problem me face it. Because a me doing you law, you nipa bebre. So long story short, me go by Mrasen and Mark H. Me feasibility study business plan. Me call Bank of Ghana. Nominate there to get a license. Now me repair license. Now me say me want now for a scaffold. My bon man say you want to say he wants Kofi there's license as Canadian. And they had money. Me license we are my party class so my real bibia which I started. Kowe ho. Obia mami.
Como share oboro.
Obia mami. And I'm sure Ghana way business a news. Yeah, there are no budget jokes. I do say fan for because they drew in born to and you know, we had the license look at me. Now, Madame for be communication center, Cantaman to a true baby. Now, can say, Unia. My license, but the office cry at best at any country. Oh, no. Then find yet financial service. No, so, unquade. The episode of the Enti ekotra esro ho san so am ekotra esro na makola na me chinchin mu na de ahwe ne wo ejom na de kakra started say raise ska e de bobisia Ghana bosia bo ogbo a ompeso otia na me eso je ni statement asem wase se makobo bibesia ese me de beboa wo ne atranse asese ne beboa wo motimi atua na me misika na me de ni ska ni wura ade akoma no ma me mo hoye o Ghana for ntia se ukoya ne ka se first kan kwa wanyo be mo ma ne kwa se bia se ska na afauso we be ka che se afauso den hwe se e wetin se apeja obi wa o frɛ na o mfa ukɔ no ha oni ho o mbisa wase sa am se ne bria chibri se me kwa ka che this kind man me say ska na hye de ene o be fi enti ne na gidi na Ghana for the man me din bone se o ba jimi sika
na konfrontia se BT bank de okoji sika o wa se de be si atete wo kra ne na sefo ne beji
eja mi na me copy sika na me de beboa no mi ntimi na unti mi ntimi na o se me ma wo mu na no Oda say me ntimi nda a me dwen sika ru aho obaji asa me ka che oda was medina mo mama na Ghana for mo tiase ma say o me ntiase echa and that's how I started Unique Trust. Initially a bomb me but actually who say me most suspected CEO and you know the meaning who how be a
enti mo bra wo no wadan for no kwa kantamanto na ode saa ne ho no ma wa mo hyase no mo hyase se mo gigi susu dia mo gigi susu ana se adwadifo na wono mo besia na mo kya ne kakra na se mo ye ne sei
me mo ide for that na me ni makola any jumpa.
Okay.
Na minim say dwom fo na no. Unu bia na to na betia abobosia. Kakra ma de adwuma. Bosom so a obetua obama na nsiu bi the same amount. To be amount 1 million. Odi adwuma bosom so obama na 1 million aka na 1 million. We try a kwa na odi $500,000 beka ho. In fact, ba kwa me hu ya na me interest in say obronu afo no say tibe na no a won wa eto akochinchin no e bia o ma no 100,000 no ko yibe ni bia ade asana o ko no so bro 110,000
so danwa
10% a day. And we did when ajuma ye be because then is maybe to me cry more 20% a month. Not just a man don't want to one problem.
There's 2 days there no. Uncle between 2 days. What the man 1 month.
Exactly. And that's cancel here thing. Because we also my car a go in a bank for crowd bobo sia own to me. Na then I just say sika do man we bet me aje. But me catch madam for be also go for 90 ma obi say na. And then I just say bobo say wetin aje na me say. Opa mame ma ska kakra bi na entua na hwese o beto wa enti I knew say the system no betimi absorb high interest rate enti me bob sia na me bon say then betimi ateka. Now 2 things me ko bia na me kwa me bisa sika kese say o me partner me here 200 million me here this obia amma me na me call madam for bi ho no ka che me say scam area no man tuya be say entem enti obetu ama me 10 million and the ehekura ofime no won yaka me bufu ye say opese obame sikan ketenkete so nya no ntina me buy me no be kasa as partners me kan be share na kama na me tu me ka me be na adagement da hodin na me say adam bufu akoyi onu kwa na obi otin bia no ka metumi amma wo 10 million. Oh, I can't cry it. May you meeting our ma. Me call share, call trying to fear our ma. And they seem to say, let's say, so me here 200 million. Maybe me call 10 million. Maybe I'm Mr. Pascal. To me, free in permanent, me start year list. Me now for me so meeting a me 5 million. Year list, thing. Now maybe be a special letter man. Madam for your computer stay, friends say, IT. A type nice letterhead. Na me am di chin ko phone so na me de letter ma o. We me chin won nyina so say letter on the buy no 5 million na say. And the long and short of it is that I was able to raise 255 million.
Wow.
So the lesson there is that your business who here sika and can send pa ba ko pe bia offer ba ko pe first come. Ye din na transfer list you pay nimo abeji wedi. I will meet you risk some Ariska on and go to them and said 10,000 on here. Or say, Master, 1,000 you want me any. And 1,000 we as soon as we be money be account. I am discover bro. Years I met your interest say. My me cry and interest I'll bet you because Caribbean no are free. You know, and that's how we started raising money. Now those days so say, me 5 million now 10 million now. But some so me anka some get register. Now we check I ready. Me bound the we you we secretary to Janu ma dawase. Me ask me ring you say mpacho ochinachi na why you know so into me ba. So with that no kofonya confidence hey kofi no more there on kwan na wo investment ahemache na arrange so sika na ready e dey ba. We ba so me am kita me ka me do am kita register no was sign. Eti emankofo size on this car bar and on this car bar na so here the bobisia. He started bosiabo watch for kosua for ntoso for obronu for sense cannot know so. And so everyone was said then he started saying nipa 4 meaning nipa miesa. Long story short, Sani started a grow business na to a point afi na you titimi finance obi a auto aeroplane. Now a staff in 2012 to cut matter short from Nipa 4 2012 were paying directly over 2,500 people. In UT Financial Services, and the bank, UT Properties, UT Logistics, UT Private Securities, UT Life, who come in about there were over 2,500. And so we started with number 4, and we were able to pay all those people. We started in 1997. We got into the bank in 2009, so 12 years. We were strong enough to buy a bank. Banker, that was owned by Malaysians, foreigners. Now, to let you get the picture right, say I start here now. Your assets are own. My car, my partner, car, my machines, my office. What can you about? Maybe it was worth about $20,000. In 2009, the person at top bank into na a day UT Financial Services a call stock exchange. Near turned 30%. The call stock exchange that the company was valued $90 million. So from 20,000, 12 years time, we're worth 90 million. Interestingly enough, not just say the company in area 90 million, because we had UT Properties, UT Logistics on the side. So when you Juma, you come on new team, no build team, on GD, you're all aligned, you will make it. But ain't easy. But we did it because of the team that we had. And we had the shame. I mean, knew where we're going, and we knew what the company meant for us and for the country and for our clients and for shareholders. So it's doable, you know. And then we decided to say better bank, because we had UT Properties, UT Logistics, as I'm saying, and we had UT Financial Services, which was the money maker. So we decided to say, listen, in the group, we should own a bank. Now, that decision was made because we're thinking, say, a bit of a bobbisia, expensive loan. No, they are quarter bank. No bank can establish a LC. No scan the bank or banking club. Yes, we need to case any man back. And I said, no. If that's the situation, we can give them the loan and cut the cost for them, because you don't have to. If it's LC, we can give you LC and not give you a loan from the onset. And also, a whole lot of things in my bank in here. And this has, well, let's own the bank and see how it goes. If non-bank financial institution, yeah, Timia grow my say there. If we have a proper bank, unfortunately, as things will have, and this, what I've told you up to now, probably up to the book 2, UT Story Book 2. Now, the bank one is covered in book 3. As soon as we bought the bank, that time, that capital you needed to run the bank was $7 million, which was incidentally 7 million cedis, 2009. A top bank, when the Bank of Ghana, a move minimum capital from 7 million to 60 million. So, yeah, top bank, but 60 million the NB. Say, who can find investor bar? As any other bank, naturally. Because 60 million is or majority capital. So then we strategized, okay, fine. Yet only 30% of UT Financial Services. And we still had a lot of value in UT Financial Services. And it's had the merging UT Financial Services and the bank that we bought, because lending is actually bank for Juma. Only say now 1 year. If we can do the 48-hour loan in the banking setup, then we are satisfying what we used to do. So we decided, okay, fine, it's better to keep a bank than let the bank go and keep a non-bank financial services. Until then, we merged UT Financial Service and the bank that we had acquired and rebranded it as UT Bank. And the bank, UT Bank Papa, UT Bank Papa. No. And of course, UT Bank buying, we made significant changes in the banking sector. Within 2 years, we won Bank of the Year award, which was the first time a Ghana bank had won Bank of the Year award. Extended banking hours. Come catch on say, listen. Obi Timakola and not in office. Or upon 5 o'clock. 3 o'clock bank upon. And the scanner I want in China on fine. They extended banking services to 6 o'clock for some of the branches. And now it's like normal thing, but it never used to be the case. Then we also did something like our loan in 48 hours was still there. We moved from where we were, our corner bay of Vaco House, to airport because we needed the image to drive it. After that, banks in our pay nice offices. So other banks started building nice offices. Then we introduced mobile branch, as in your dark cars if US, with internet and everything. Internet, the base I said branch. I'm sure. Yeah. And just to ensure that there's inclusiveness, as you be able access to banking.
There's somebody called the doorstep of the people.
Exactly. To be on more, say be a classic Accra, a jada, near the Kusiho, a be a counter mount, beating at the post to Sika. No, my can't say yes, say, a call near this kind of you to Aqua. Was, hey! Bank no ina na ekọ because we used to bank I work the dark you know and then but the good aspect or what caught on they say Ghana for near year was me in bank buy the bank here be sure credit to account there just come near there and so on and so forth, and we did so many things which was exciting for Ghanaian people. Unfortunately, we had problems because when we brought the two entities, bank and boy, and UT Financial Services, that means cultural differences. It was a major thing, how to actually get the two teams to work together. Now, near said, bank of honor said, yeah, in banking, into a bank there, so on the chairs and banking. And I UT for say, yeah, never taught more. Because more no more banking in here. So already there's a conflict, say manage conflict. Then we had to even change the software from Finacle to T24, and also had these issues. We had issues with the processes. And the time I enjoy the euphoria, we also the net effect of all the problems is that I feel the youth now, a boy Bessia, Untimin Kazo Untia, and either way, I feel youth know a Bobisian Untia. Because Nipana Bam, culture as son, we bow so as can of fire Jumakra, and I'm Cacrendi. Until then, we had some non performing loans, and we also took some risks. They say oil business, for example, were funded. Most banks were not funded because of the problems, but we thought that we could handle it. And we are under pressure because so we say you need cheap, what the banks call cheap money. Savings in the current account, for example, current account won't have interest on it. But because we were a new bank, we didn't have such cheap money. So now the cost of funds are quite high compared to other banks. So a whole lot of things happened. And when we started getting problems with liquidity, the Bank of Ghana came in, and then they supported us with some liquidity. And once okay, Monfa restructuring plan, how I'm waiting me as a someone. And the restructuring plan, and the Bank of Ghana could try to say, okay, fine, more introduce more capital, more increase cheap monies, more review more management and things like that, which was all okay. And we started looking after this. Unfortunately, we had the investors back cultural. We had other investors who are but me say one back we a yes or no answer. Before I go to what I'm going to say, restructuring plan baby to just turn the bank around. And I'm going to catch them board to say, you have baby except say and share me. Because they're saying so charity to a more Egyptian. And must start if you can't man to an AJJ, Kofi Mo most respected you most stay most, but we have to look at me. I was 63 in 2015, and pension age is 60. And we started having the problems around 2014. I'm kind of listen. At 63, I think I want to step down. Now with the restructuring plan, new person, now with new fresh and then fresh, no matter exactly what it is through a different lens, so that the bank has a chance. Well, against the wishes of my board, I stepped down. Everybody knows that 2015 I stepped down. So in 2017, I was still part of the discussion of Bank of Ghana and Agya Kwabena. Then Obadia, so one thing I saw pension to away. And on the 14th of August 2017, me da kukura to me pension and me jojo me hokakra. Me sora no pa be 7:30. Me yeah kuku drink. Man no me CNN. I retire. Me call a through say me confirm me phone na ma phone hwe na me pija me phone. Miss calls baby. I didn't asem ko. So my friend, my daughter said, I don't know be a hwehwe me. Na ma dream cry yes be me baby na say mo ato no, you know. Because the bank it wasn't my responsibility as it were. You know, say I feel now some say government is what UT bank a news for baby nkwa na until they are got to know say UT bank are closing at 8 o'clock. Meanwhile by 6 na police for the press me or why bubu UT science na dey na. I'm see you. Sa na Ghana ban penny there.
Onye enyima na sa. Me pese biti bibia so wa kakra. Ebra mo hu say mo liquidity problems na mo call the Bank of Ghana for kasa no. Omo munya restructuring managerial aspect ne ma hu se mu ye nyina no butumi ye ni nyina awie ama ombe so masin omo jitu mo say dey mo ye no ma gi ato mo awie nti se butumi ye mo adwuma na se dey
yeah no baby on say ye ntimi ye adwuma. It was a continuous thing, right?
More process no na
your process we are running the bank like normal, but we had liquidity problems, so they give us liquidity support. And while we enjoy the liquidity support, go through this restructuring process.
Okay.
So yankasa munya na muya do baby na mumbra. It was a continuous thing. That is why I found it surprising. Say, a bank when you say kiosk, bank the yengu bank sir, and for you to wake up in the morning and I say a good bank and I withdraw licenses up to today, me who baby a good bank we are sim baby. But that's what happened.
Now one day Bank of Ghana paying for the incomo. I'm a Bank of Ghana for who say a no cancer money or my no. Moody is no so. Ye gusua Bank of Ghana ya way.
Gusua me the investor akọ Bank of Ghana. Bank of Ghana no akasa. Akacha is okay. On evaluate investor no offer no say you okay. One may hold AGM because UT is not a listed company. They all shareholder be brave. I say when a dream or one Sunday will go on company or go on company. And now me quite confident say and Bank of Ghana was also aware say it's a listed company. Once over catch a emergency general meeting if they accept it. So we're still in negotiation stage. You know, so if you decide to say own negotiating but catch as a case upon negotiation. Interest. And then I could have said, okay, when I'm on par, I have another investor. But we were not given that chance.
And the Bank of Ghana form I'm raising here. Omo say more process no so more process no so more adwuma no. Omugu no omo raising here. Omo eje mo license in film.
When I came back from Kukrantumi, me directors by a meeting. We tried getting in touch with Bank of Ghana. We wrote to Bank of Ghana, OMY. We wrote to the office of the financial team or economic management team headed by Dr. Bawumia. Also, Bank of Ghana has not officially come to tell us win-win. But of course, they made statements on radio and the news. Say UT Bank had to be closed down to sanitize the financial sector.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Na some from mo kind of so na say mo mo na mo ni ye bi ya ma banking sector ni ma ya basa na say.
When we no investigation. And I mean na my fee bank or 20 months. Almost 2 years. Many of them call court after you come there. And then no can say you know court.
Wa fee bank wa retirement almost 2 years no.
Yes.
When you be found
me them call you go court. Say you bomb charges. Say me wo hono me say cafe bank or eco UT holdings. And the investors come fire. Question be say who discover to banker? We bet me afa one sign.
Eso be science.
This whole sign. And investment be as here 1 year maximum 1 year. If you have 20 months, that will be a so coincidence. But I said no call 20 there.
What do you mean council?
Well, it is what it is, but you know.
And it's Ushimwa a target mo target is on Begumu Bank na say ye son and Kesomo Yanuano.
I can't say, but certainly a library I dream Bonnie Bebre because I can't understand a whole lot of things. Me who does in other jurisdictions, when you have a bank, which is, and I take my name out of it, it was an iconic brand. An indigenous company, UT was invited to Stanford, to Oxford to tell the story. It was Johnny Walker give us award, international American. Ghana had a baby national award, most respected. Is that how you treat an indigenous company in your recognition? I still can't understand it. So, Kofi have been working there. Say, workers, staff who had worked hard to be there, who had won sika and won. Investors are won sika, pensioners won sika on their ship. Ninja, abayin egu yutia one way ubiaho. Wow, company. Must say the banking sector, no, it's in the hands of foreigners, which means the economy is in the hands of foreigners. And the America cry one banks in Myanmar, 2008, when they hit the financial crisis, they bailed them out. They cannot bail them out, but they want to escalate in every area. I don't know the no one of you just say, now before now, can't be a say.
It's a brand now, almost yes, and more branches to do saying.
UT Bank, I don't know, I think quite maybe about, because UT Financial Service has 16 branches. The bank also had maybe, I don't know, maybe about 30, 40 branches, maybe something like that.
And Tiaba say, ye J. Molansis in the film on Semono. Who make efforts say Money Bank or Ghana and pay for Becca say.
But so one female be seen there. Nobody said, come and let's talk and tell you. Nobody.
It's a more assets way.
Okay, so the action they took, they say, bank no the him worker, a buying betua. Now, bank no assets, GCB in fact, no pay no on fact, no pay no on for my receiver no on his obey me at all. And in the process, the government lost about 2 billion minimum, 2 billion cedis. Now, near the UT Bank, the Ghana go the Bank of Ghana got 800 million.
800 million, okay.
Yes. And now, government they use over 2 billion. And the good now, when you 800, no so.
800 nashi. 2 billion not the good, no so ashi.
And the bank no so go. And my workers no so coffee. It doesn't make sense one little bit. And the maybe I send him and I say, it can only be act of it's an evil act to say the least. Udio Bika and can you cross me kopo bina me canon ship or me ma obi aka ho na wetu me to oka if the government has spent even 1 billion and say take 1 billion and turn the place around. But this anka because I turn scar. Please inka ube count 1 billion maybe when you 800 no sumuka kra. 800 no call. 2 billion call. And that's the least I would say about it. I don't know what they can make out of it.
What do you want? Okay, maybe so we can say now what dream I will say anka UT bank no UT no nka mo betina Ghana here and answer now what you be sanka possibly as time goes on say munyini a mo be kwada neighboring countries.
Actually, because an interesting question, but a bank like Access Bank, at some point UT Bank and Access Bank were at the same level. Access Bank Nigeria, an international huge bank. So to your question, now entertaining say we will go Pan-African. Right, and in a way, not tested post because UT Financial Service was in Nigeria, UT Financial Service was in South Africa, so virtually we had a presence in the financial industries in these two countries. So to your question, yes, but then because we started having problems, then I say a shelf if you unless you resolve, won't be outside. But I wanted to establish, in my dream of dreams, I thought that we could build a bank that will go international. Ghanaian bank that will go international. And so as it were, I'm also.
Eti o share sa you see no effect ben in nya o yen finance or mine se kasam so say my economy na nkasa no sa UT bank any other banks be, but because say UT in America no say center on you no say mo bank na e free mo nsa na abanso tumi ahwema na tumi anyina ne guye no impact ben nya wo my economy so
and be break. Number one, Abana was spending over 25 billion to clean the financial sector. And what did we get for it? We just got companies who have access of the banks and require involved now. I don't think it's more than half of that figure. Into 12 billion. And then I'll say 25 billion. And then a company or how other two taxpayer, Ghanaian taxpayers, or how many a cano, and unfortunately, that's and this for being inherited. And then not apart from the 25 billion that the taxpayer has to cough up to pay. And incidentally, 25 billion, at the time it was about at least $6 billion at 4-1. In year two, $6 billion go here. Near IMF for $3 billion. What am I saying? Again, it doesn't make sense, but that's what we did. And it threw away 25 billion. It sent us back to IMF. And then at the outside world, we say, we don't have any solid institutions, especially banking side. So, of course, the banking goes to the foreigners, the Nigerian banks and the other international banks, which weakens the whole economy, because the economy depends on foreign banks. I don't think it means you are in control of your destiny. Even stock exchange suffered, because if people put their money on the company that's listed on the stock exchange, now no one address a situation now. Some of the problem will reflect on the stock exchange. Just say, hey, we could talk a company where you now, Abano for some reason I will draw a license now, cap require amount. It's not good news. And the repercussions are plenty. You know, the staff, the investors, the general story about it, it's not good. And it's sad, say, you know, government they superintended over all these things and caused a lot of problems. Not only in financial sector, everywhere else.
Who shared the SCA? How was the relationship between you and maybe the former finance minister,
I'm so what to be been out there.
President. And name and penny akasa because we couldn't too many because say for penny no for kuma
baby for penny for kuma akropo run to me there
yes achimpo enti anka wo betu ananse korako chebi akoko ye na montamu ti sen anhu say you nua ho chile enti ye hwe
I'm surprised you use the word unia. That's how we called ourselves. A friend Monia and a friend Monia. And we were very good friends. Data bank, and read some of our books. I put some of the relationship I'm finance minister. So initially I didn't have any problem with him, even though the bank went down. Because he will probably give the final idea, but don't feel so. Yeah, somehow they must have presented some facts be their own team in saving union. But later on, I realized that no, he wouldn't even talk to me. He wouldn't, but in Kawudia there, in Kawudia someone and Uncle Becca, so if you say want to send, what can we do to probably
approach you?
Oh yes. I'm calling, but the corner catch the main ringing a P, me here and I'm ringing a P, and I'm saying, I quite had a whole one. That's what call me trouble. And then it means he doesn't want me to see me again. That is why most people say, you know, but my dream costs animals. So he is still my brother, except that we keep our distance because we'll be so and you're so to found conversation. Yeah.
I say I'm buying for number. Se ko ba se bia mo hwe kwansa ba foforo abayi no e betuma bibi ade mo license ama mo back ama ma ye adwuma no ana se e de na mo hwe kwan
menim se aba ama omampani se no or the company promising that so very hwem the watch word is obetwe near happy at banks no you go on na one office yam for afa kwampa so no or the online sama o oba enche and someone about to call onye how deep it is entino nyesa be region aka say na me beji bank na say there be it's a process on in the case of youth no the only year na you fine and na say you fine if you come to conclusion so one treat a year but the process yes the car government Bank of Canada but the process was wrong. They didn't address the issue about shareholders. They didn't address the issue about the directors and the management. We'll sit and see what they think is proper, and then we'll give in. I decide and it be born.
Alright, something I can say sa UT banker you go no a financial injustice. Or time be kakra wo baby and one year be wo baby sana wo so hunu no
I mean I made me hunu here but obi a te asem da oye ohwehwe na fe we a no draw a conclusion but generally that is what most people who are close to the finance sectors feel but as I say me no the SCSC at 73, I'm poised me, one day, or Niji, me judging Crawford. So, whatever this government decides on Bayern, we'll go along and see what happens. The two questions are metiases, and come over, and get YouTube able, Calcofano. Do they enjoy life? Now, YouTube bank coming back or not coming back, it's a secondary matter. Yeah.
Would you any power?
Oh yeah. That's all the social media and say they be am him one. Me that's na me sa na me sa. Na me kwa na me sa. Ko be bre sa. Ana me kwa me sa.
Say e bi obi adwene say papa dia what form power that so say there na say motivational something man no. Ya first branch e bi na adwene say opeso establish bi organa ha. Obi aye na adwene so opeso ye bi organa na say ohunu de mo afam ya ehun beka no. Afuto be na de masa afu ni nyina.
We are say buy. We are saying wura. That's the first thing. And now, new answer the air by we are say, yeah, may impact we are say, yeah, may yet be and fair and pay we are saying. Maybe in a very small way, but ninety will be do but to buy as and I'll be creative and say, you have a purpose. And the will be. And in the end, to be should not be a factor to also business. Send a kind of question or convoke, who will be a car born one, Mujani, and I want to edit. And he will be the shebre. But one thing is, Sagana Betumpo, it said, your business is a creative wealth. That's the only reason how Ghana between because we can GDP is the total wealth you're creating. We are creating not Babak as Ghana a poor country because of low GDP, and I say it's a rich country because of high GDP. To the youth and say, "Neato be you learn the lessons from it." And then I made me experience. My 3 books now. I'm still out there. I have the PK Leadership Foundation teaching young people what is right, what I did wrong, and they will learn the ropes. Because was so when you experience free. Because experience one way and that's what so a day. We experience and I'm putting everything that I've learned, my expertise, my experiences, and everything raw as it is. So that one way about which means Papa na woman now avoid it, born a woman. So that Ghana be we need leaders, especially leaders who have the right values. Because leaders, they say, will be brave. But you need leaders who have right values. Right values in the sense of one. Basically, you must be God-fearing. So when we say, if we are see new. 2, you should have respect for everybody. The way to have respect for everybody is 1. So that keep time. When you be your appointment, keep the time because all we have is time. The M4 be time near off. And then respect systems. Because if you want to love people, for system to say, what person or kwano, when we are from one other call. One from one be a sunshine the morning. It is the system. Then the panel decide, say, okay, he will go by it or not go by it. You must also be very honest at all times. And especially for one person business. If you are not honest, you can't start a business. Because who start a business? I call for help. Now we are Zamana. When you do that down, so you must lead a life of honesty and integrity. And of course, learn hard and become a professional at whatever you do. Professional just be our PhD. Oh yeah, mechanic. Oh yeah, whatever. Make sure so we and learn everything in that business. To the point that say, your opportunity will say, I didn't say I say here no, but the only way idea, make me am I better. Because business is about solving problems. It's about changing the status quo. Oh yeah, be a better manipa acronym. To let me say, so be a professional, be a person of honesty, respect people, respect their time, respect systems, but to sum it all up, be God-fearing. Come, I'm talking about respect, but the Bible says love. The respect of Kapatesukakra. That's what I have for our young people. Because if you are dishonest, if you win being dishonest, say, what causes negative impact? Say, Sebi, Oko, yeah, drugs are now communicating scanner. Negativity now causes until they obey,
and so any. And any other papa say, say, Captain Prince Kufiam Wako retired. Captain Prince Kufiam Wako retired. What they country book back on or say, we know, I say the UT story, volume 1, or say humble beginnings, and only. And I say the Tosumi, you know, or say the UT story, volume 2, building a winning team, and also near. Back on so, the Tosumi, and I'm saying I'm going to launch it. Sorry. We are near, or say the UT Bank story, volume 3, or say faithful decisions. Captain Prince Kofi Amwabin retired, and I want to know what 3 books Makumi and San and Ewahe and Siana or Lanchiwi, Tibomadian on Sabitumi Kabi. Now, what can be to me a bow? Ama, which was a humble beginning, and Brasia Shassi, and I feel so. A building winning team, a Kua, and couldn't do Kua, Yabashe, and I feel faithful decision. Ye didn't create DNA see. Book Makumi and saying to say, so soon now, Duncan Canning, a bit to my bounty captain. I better see Pino Women, and him so brave. I said, I media. I better say, you better send wedding come on. na ye ho kwampa betumi afa so na busua hu na wo no chire man so atimi nya so fa so binti once again da se bebre
enen ko botwe no twetwe no wa yes na ye pese ye nya ye twa so mpo ha na openi ene ka say ye capital retired prince Kofi Amoaben UT Bank Unique Trust Bank egu no na peni ono kofare bai na ne ye ko twetwe na ahyase ne no ye ntumi enye mama anhwe o kansema odo bi ema o kire bibi o hyase ya na bibi o babiduru ye na edu baabi no baabi wo ho ka de fa send the bank no gu ye no so onya kwa kwasi ada then finance minister Oraka no for atanchen eni di nkomo adwada na egu ni bank no na ayensem bebre enti abadwafo ba ha die ye be hyese na ye di hu nkoma ne sa se me di kankan no me wo Dr. Kwachi ewa oye head of research IE wajuma IMF asan adwuma Bank for Ghana so many years into banking sector hono or experience papa and me wo Dr. Echiahene wono so banking consultant wono so ka bank se ekekere bank pa dia wo de kofa na bobo ano a masa asambeto obeboa mo Echiahene kama and misan wo onunyamfo Michael Ochirbeafi wono ono ye New Job South na sebedwani na MPP amayoku no din mu no gina ede ekokoje se de bre no and afi me wo ambassador Victor Kamiaka Victor so last week ama nti ema yes ambassador Sampi Yale ono so ababeka ambassador Akwaba
yeja
last week audition me nti me sam no man Vic ka be to ya so aha Dr. Akwaba
ya eja
bibi aboko de
awade ado
that's no mre pa Dr. Kwachi Akwaba
yeah
that's pa na wo mre menu ya woje shon Akwaba honorable
ya dokuna
bibi aboko
ko
the radio asi menu oti menu ne hyase ye ni be 20 years ye no be 20 years hyase fi sunyane and ye menu nyina sabe kumase and ye nyina menu nyina sabe don kran nti on de oye me huni papa me moja pa ankasa pa we de Dr. Kwachi mam hyase friend free so wo hwe a last week ye ne Heritage Bank pe ni kasa ye no ni samo kan no I can say yes so similar to the Captain Amoaben so akai in the banking sector yeba Bank of Ghana die mu a niema wo mgina so e di collapse bank no wenu ye ma na boroso mienu ye fa mienu ye hweso omo ye ma na boroso anu nti e na etumi collapse no utie nsamo mienu kan ye ya
yeah okay me da say we the doctor Achiahene and the hai ono na oye expert no but means me can be yeah send you can me any story na say similar to experiences of other CEOs no say close down banks no in fact right from the beginning send you can we go through various stages or started from loans and savings if as NF or develop ya a bank and so account and I build a bank at media call even Ghana Stock Exchange, which means why are they pioneering? But say the management of banks, no, especially local banks, no, send you can do baby or clients, no, one more will lend it to them, no, be so much diversified. Inti nya omunyina between tia loans no back on time near the ibo okra government contractors no call lend it to them. Government soon into our car back near the and one thing so my noticing say yeah now banks no so much try say or ebe involve in other activities other business no ma kofa beka ho inti no so no say one hwe now spread too much sa no a one hwe ya some of the businesses maybe are not as profitable inti na the main bank no principal bank no just affected nti say eno so ya dey ba ko a say e bi omo hwe ni year and the management of the bank governance structure no maybe onye no too much of family and friends out to control mu year ni ade and the Bank of Ghana so our responsibility say obe exercise strong oversight, supervision over the bank, because we are both on-site and off-site inspections on a regular basis. Se bank no echo problems more at least we between detecting on time. Now what me aye hu bibi. And well, so these are some of the challenges banks in face. One thing so say capital. One over time, because the economy is not that stable, no. Over time, no, unse capital now the start ne erode because inflation is so high, exchange rate is so depreciated so fast. Enti en check round now be unse why undercapitalized. Now Bank of Ghana ba say as I say we increase more capital. There was a time where during the restructuring, 2018, 2019, no, almost can say banks increase some capital no, from 120 to 400. Look at the jump. Into how many of them know between are cope with this? The only thing be between I and say be ube flow to shares, just ube sell some of the abe invest in it. They will be to media. And yes, idea. Into once we run into these difficulties, no, non-performing loans rise. And then once we branch on too much now we start facing liquidity problems. Now I call Bank of Ghana ho. No so a provide be. But when to me I knew soon want to repay in back. Eventually you run into this trouble.
Yeah, sure. They were in the process. What in some kind na Bra Bank of Ghana can say baby amoye dru no mo ha mo no. Sisi be so masen. Na mo no, ye be so masen no. Munye abede, munye weni. Amama eni nyina. Ada koto Bank of Ghana nim. A omo ahwe eye ho adwuma. Nti bra mo ewo process no mu na no. And you revoke bank, no? Should that be the case?
Well, that side, you know, there, man, year, Papa, because I understand, say, as a Bank of Ghana, no more reach agreement, say, ebia win as a year, because you share other countries, send you more address, more financial crisis, no? What happens? Say, do baby, a government, any Bank of Ghana, or more bemu. Now say management and now governance, now more issues. Central Bank no cry to me take over my bank no. The managers eba any ade be help mo. You know, to restore more to financial aid. Answer na oma handing over back to you. But no cry na be on beka say mun change management and governance any ade. But you don't collapse the bank completely. I know there you know I mean Bank of Ghana say any minister of finance say just collapse the bank because that's Mr. Moabin said no. Amma say Ghanaian ownership of the banking system no, I reduce power. They say BBR could di foreigners, so which is not good for the economy. You know, because Ghana banks only create employment, only generate neskano aka a minimum. The foreign banks no, only generate profits, their dividends. They just send them all out. Now, put pressure on the city. Sa action a Bank of Ghana and the Minister of Finance take a collapse your indigenous banks no omo merge omo collapse them completely say it's not a good idea and this new government say they should revisit that near how you between restore Ghanaian ownership to the banking system
Okay, that's it. Dr. Chiahene, would it be easy say between BB at sir say BB utie nkomodie no na sefo se mo japade nyoma aseti nyina betu aka say yaton na akodi bebie say di I can remember Dr. Park Osindum die no edu baby kra na one of the offices na ehon na dey warehouse na obi di name ego na sefo ebe is betu me ayesa
me da was Agya Kwabena ma de me senior e kan no ma me fa bi nka ho ansa na obusa wansa yo Emra Dr. Addison no mobile no certain no ana na ya hwehwe BSDI Act 2016-930 e kire e kwan ya ye gi license free bank any process are you
okay
Oko section 16 of the act subsection 4 e kire was subsection 3 e kire was say metro abrel mama 30 days now they abrem me said papa Kofi Ama be kind we were in the process of restructuring and looking at so many things. Some of the Bremo Bank of Ghana now more 7 days. Some of the say, you call them again, or you write them, say, Minianum, Monsamra. If you say, Adina Ekoye, Yayeno, and nipa need confidence in the financial system.
Doc, because we sense some no so many people. What's it say Bank of Ghana emra wo ho
any
say answer na e ho no chirichiremu ye wadaroma
section 16 subsection 3 or say before a license is revoked, right, you write to the owners of the bank and tell them nienti I will say bank ni nkoye no now so am on 30 days no match back say e bi enkoye say ni ye say when you sa now tam ekuma se sika nkopre kokoguma enye ne kwanso no nti number 1 emra no wo ho no somebody decided to be I don't know so ye no want to say obi a okasa obi enka bi decide na se ye disua se ye hemra obi anye above emra. Let me make it clear, not even the president, because so yes sir wo bumra no so because ya hwehwe it is one di ye say wo kan so what di just make me come on some make kachero enye emfani tan said you kofi kan no eto maybe a umpenasem but hwe onipa agu ewu wo saade mu Bank of Ghana branch here baako may he so rest in peace amanfo owu agane ma ne ne yere ene ne bibia it is a mo yade a mo nwen nipa so ye adwuma since ye kotam sa akuma no the confidence in the especially the Ghanaian sector of the banking sector has never been the same and it would never be the same because yes ade no I can so bianco for 400 Dr. Kwachi kan 400 million when him say na $66.4 million December 2020 ya when him sikan equivalent $25 million if you say banking no it will operate within microeconomic environment, lower inflation, stable currency, lower fiscal deficit. All these things have gone wayward. And maybe inflation. So Ghana for money you call hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is or maybe our inflation is consistent above certain 20% going. We are hyperinflation. But when we write it, people say it's not true. But when you read the IMF document, any country consistent for Ghana is currently in hyperinflation because our inflation is 23.8. Indeed, Dr. Kwachi can also say micro environment in India. What the capital be a shema enye. Dr. Kwachi can be and I know and say okay well IMF for the country document or see contractors are buying a wonka and I know minister no can cry body American or see now IMF say 35 billion. Ni kan ya na nkofo fi say e ka no e ya nkofo bi dia e ya bank fo no na abobusia e na ye ntua se bank fo no ma contract no ko ye kwa no ntua ye translate into higher non-performing ni say for every 100 cedis Ghana na metimi e catch up a free 2014 ebepim ne average non-performing is 14.29%. Acceptable global principal level 10%. Until free 2014 Ghana Bank it doesn't exist. We can in there and yamina make detract and good IMF researchers never this the and a true article. Until so people busia no ntua aban koje no koye contract no ntua and when my banks no favor bank bi okroma na me can chiro bank bi oye dede saa. The non-performing ratio is 62%. Ghana Bank. Me catch no ne opa no ya me body 62% for every 100 cities. That bank 62% is gone because wako support to a bank's contract ya untriaka. And now no more kind energy. You see 2.3 medium in 2.3 sana IMF for document chireme. O multiply 2.3 by 15. You're close to 40 billion. Into the 40 billion yen pia energy na you can yes energy no obi na akọ every banks na finance and na abaye obrodi say ya abatros. It is a won pia o non performing cost o non performing kwa who capital ekofom. It is a meeting so mobile financial stability. The first thing I'm going say, has anything changed at all? Nothing has changed. Inti aban hwe na e ka wodi no. The oyebo agu ho a I to say ko bi po no ayentini ntu no. Si yentutu. Ni anhwe a banks ni be ye ni den ensa ma. Na me nua kwa che bisini aka woni ma se okan. Nigerian bank enko ho, muntie ni ye o. Ghana for muntie ni ye. South African banks enko ho, British bank enko ho, German banks enko ho, French bank enko ho. Bank enko ho ni 9 Ghanaian banks. Omune soka de che because abrofoni akachom say ukona se Ghana obi a de contract ba na ye USAID sika na de betua ana na ye GOG a mfa nka nti wo ye kwan woni plan na wo gu bank papa Kwasindum meka nsan ma beka wasem papa Kwasindum more than 2.6 billion for roads untia ose beguru road ni mpacho ko papa Kwasindum anko ye nsi ni krom kura de say elimina anya wono ho ye kwan no moko se kuku good no nkoye ade ne so good on tro so nkoma no e ma no mre e ma ne react se me de ye ama me nti tumi nyina aye ho se nyame kwadwo me de se ne mi nua panyi e kasa no wo kan nyame asem enipa bia wo krom ha ma yo ho se nyame nso mo nya nyame ene mo ye nyame o mo nya nyame no mo ye nyame they are not God but they have taken themselves to be God the good go for juma. Now let us come to your question. Say mitini ya o say the ya ye ni nyina ayede.
E betumi ayama na ye say bebi ayeduri.
Yama no. Enra me nua bi kasa o radio station. Your friend Professor Bob King wo ho am chia o. O say kroma nim dia nyame dia maye no. Se ye kasa ye be ye ni ya ye betumi aye. Hwe oni mo man keto a ye nuru ba bia na yetimi nya United Nations General Secretary. But yeba amanyosem we nka ye ho we mfiri ha we nka ho ena mo konso sa nim de ni nyame amfa anomu opanyin otiwe kwachi enipa say na betimi aye Ghana ha o ma ye adwuma wo IMF 10 solid years na onye IMF Africa na o report to the CEO MD IMF ononye ha won de we ni broni na di enyo African department o nipa say iti ho nimdie bi a ye ka ofana ye ka krom ha wo monetary policy inflation targeting enye se wo hana meka onim ni su nim ne ban but enam se kwachi enka ho no ye beka so nka ho sa ne ye ka no nti si ampe nimdie fo ne de di ye no a ye beko aba ye beko in circles. Let us begin to pick knowledge, wisdom, nimdie suhu ye ne sa achia Ghana achia o emu yo di akodro no chia na achia emu ye
Ambassador akwa ba
eja
be fi akwa ba bi o ye baba so na no so be fi so na wa twere ne ma bibra pretty ne ma bibra so na me be won pa ye tie bebi esikasa makokoduru bebi ene nam asamba ko mo kan ya ma me yem hye me ene sesese no ya nkasa Ghana for no we don't own the economy kasam to che ne ye dia e ya hoho dia nti no kuhiri kwasoro sende mpo a enye ye dia ye se ewo me ene ewo ye no susu ndem pa wa dwene mu no susu ye mu no ede na ogidi say okan bibi say achia na so mu e de mo edro mu ni ko de aka de mo ho ban ede na so say seye na se achia do bibi nkura e betu atenetene kakra
yo me das bebi ra me chia impeding from me ne omote table ehu sanso na me din chia kese ma me kromo hene das brother na kokobu atin and the papa da form di ameboa enanwumre ni de papa betumpam kwa utwene ase ndi mira adaroma eba beja from ochanko na otwene me de betumpam ndi say na ewie akoside ochana na edna tumpam menu adio mpanifo kan na me kan kakra fa ho medikan me pese ehwe ne ma mienu me ne omo ya adwen baby nso more issues
me gidi se Ghana ni bia bobra eye djuma o se man kwan boa no ye man support aban nhihye ya obetim dia boa Ghana ni bia man adwuma gina enepe free time me year politics am kasa already so na television so enepe na me kasa am kasa bi ndikofo mo hwe me betwema adwa koso se be kasa bia me ka kire za chia me kromfo omo a nyame abo mo nyeska e de bibi nyuma da bia me kasa me don wase na makofu diafo nya biye sa for me se me don wase sanse enyo nwa anka ye kro na katete ena aban ko entimi emmo oman ho bra aban ko entimi mfa nipa nyina wodwuma mu enti eye aban ahyede na sede a ye ntroto ho na sede a enye constitutional right aban sebia an entrenched position in the constitution say aban boama Ghana for mo ye adwuma mo bi adwuma mo adwuma nyina aban hye opompeu enti aban e wo so oyi bibia obetibia boa Ghana ama Ghana for adwuma no mayi ni I like it and me tie mo fa kufe mo abia me penase pa me tie no and the books makan you know that I'm besa kan first one besa kan bio because me will be woman or say besa kan bio answer beside the questions okay no say the person okay na or present the raw data na amai obi amfa the woman the enye back kwa mirror kwachi na oka about the way sometimes you manage judgment the governance structure for judgment and sometimes you di nkofo are so familiar with them the principle of say sometimes o please nkofo maybe I would nkofo bem nkofo no bem no omonte wo wase
ideologies na se
and nepe me bisa penifo mu tibi and nepe da the pe tifi no pa abate I will interview him well because me say no madam bia no wo ka say so say wa ono wa bo bosiano ono ano ko place ka bo bosiano enti bi na oh the also I don't just agro na ko focus and then ono ada no aka because ye kapa so ono akoma pa enya adwen pa ono edi ebi adwuma no so person one obo Ghana for na otimi mankofo nyeska ni adwuma na osan hihye adwuma mankofo tibi hwemo ma eni ofie no aman no so ekoso no sadwe no nkofo mba beboa be adwuma no no so what the same adwene bi and that sometimes the create problems mine because on no such adwuma no on well the culture of business into me because me sometimes change entrepreneurship because the culture of business well we have to teach it in school sorry in the corporate environment nkofo ba number be adwuma especially private people except people be adwuma no I was say o culture business no well you have to let the people understand the culture of business and they open how you want the business to be run okay now but so they have to accept it to be able to work with you because I guess that would no much even if you are also make very
o ka sem se bra o mo koto banka o mo be meji ye no na kwa say wo mo nyina gina mo fapre mo gina so as UT financial service no na bank abamu no bank no enso ideology senko na won so kwacha nso nko so nti the one na conflict of say the combine na
ngo ebre hu say or step down so who follow na that time I was in corporate if okay he was a role model to a lot of young people more private sector those of us who were in a financial institution I'm telling him today me can't say obia because I was also working with Suntina as young as I was now we are going to say he is a role model to all the young people in the corporate environment especially private corporate now you say all step down people thought say he was too young to step down and on you want own team on your person and sometimes no go force to say or step down the business will have challenge. I am not by this supporting anybody or ye bibi enye I'm a company no egu and a bank no egu me can say. But I'm also trying to say so sometimes year to and I'm always saying yeah your penny can penny kwache. I took note of it. In building a business. Well, I was here say e be a yomo bam abaye business the adwene e dey ban sanity. Say the person yin. Hwe bank bi bagan ha. And they financial I mean they were into this it's a savings and loans institution. Later on, it metamorphosed into a bank. Now, within a matter of 1-2 years, that bank then big branches will be in the country. So, and go for no only very good, I mean, financial people anticipated said that bank was going to have a challenge because not only the strong the foundation out just the India are all spreading it. Opening branches means that your cost is going to increase. Opening branches means that you are going to now spend more, which will invariably affect your business and your numbers running the business. Myself said, we have to look at all these things. Now, make any pain as the pain say Ghana. Yeah, happen. I was say money. Yeah, money. Yeah, obedient. Yeah, who say yeah as of mine. See, I'm one man, and Chan Kona, it's a fact. Because Ghana Ninya Juma, and that's what I always say. When I was at Free Zones, we have to also undertake a mass local investment drive. We are only interested as a country in undertaking foreign investment drives and missions. What about there are a lot of local people? Because say, okay, so a company like Barry Calibo, a cocoa processing company, or Cargill, a foreign investment about Ghana. Okay, when the shareholders decide to always see at an office of Kakakawaha, running business, okay, the owners say, okay, now they want to now exit the country. PF country, new business. Now, and then I'm Fanco. Name want to talk any business machines don't be tunko. And you know what would they do? The only way out for them is to sell, get somebody to come and acquire the business. And because we have not capacitated a lot of young local investors or potential investors, you have building on capacity, financial strength and muscles to be able to have the capacity to acquire such businesses. So now they have to now strategically look for an investor from another place.
Ghana,
no, your business, no. Is that the way to go as a country? No. So the way to go for me, whatever it is to build the capacity of our local people intentionally. Till government must be intentional on that. So we'll build the local capacity of Ghanaians. Indigenous people say, Sankofu banombe ye business wo harness a business to Kroma. Number some kokra na ye onkofo miti ato. Because Ghana ni miti ato business we. Because e bia we ababa ye business we oso omo ko o kan ni ato. Ka Kroma. Otimi am plan kofo bri. Na me katwa to bi nso na ma homo wasase mo say. Once I make same way na ama no. Owners of these businesses almost who say they have a responsibility. Very important. As much as possible, whilst we are doing good, trying to build businesses, here we see our responsibilities. Because they may offer coffee but yet being say you be doing what can some way you know mofa any mofa am we bank in economics. Omo was a dream hopper no, we cannot not only think about go for we yes, then we are not thinking well. But I'm what I say. I was here dream depositors. Once we are thinking about dream Ghana form near dream almost me and yet UT Bank another business Madam Bako very popular person or compulsory retirement. Oh, baby, another jurisdiction or buy the sika in pounds. The boost can say, wow, yes, Kakatwa. And now the two financial institutions lose kanya. Another person on no do we am no till kuma. Omo sack of only depositors. Omo musica ho. Asem to hom. It is so we should not only think about say we kwakos say be managing ni na ya make yourself go for am do musica to hom. O musica na ada ho no ho so scan ho batono na yi me ketwa to say ye we nyina Ghana ni adwuma de o say bo managing nyina ni abregu.
Honorable Befini attending can ambassador Sampiele in common ye DMC ye din komo fi ha ansana officially Quran e betuma ka say interview payifo mienu Heritage Bank and UT Bank ansa no maka mo de ayenso ye de sosue wutie wo mienu ni nyina sama mo ka ye ne Heritage Bank panini ka say Dr. Alhaji Agungu Kasai no o se bepem nne Bank of Ghana entumi enkyere no ade portin wugina so ntia womo age revoke ne license no ne assets nyina so eko wutie yewura mo abenso a ofia mo abenso say bepem nne eje se be mo make effort mo to na mo ne so mo je license dentra ye pese ye hunu se ne be ya oso mo make effort mo koya nso no anya de a authorities Bank of Ghana any finance ministry eti o manu masem mpo ehwe o manu mpo there's also bepem nne no wo mo nso enya de a reasons nti a wo mo eji o license ni fi o musam no wo mo atumi ehunu na wo hwe Dr. Tuahene asem o kan ye a bank no se bank ni nkoyi a ese se Bank of Ghana actual letter come on mo say weni nti abaje mo license ni ya ma bank ne kwan 30 days na bank no so a reply e de come Bank of Ghana so Bank of Ghana mo krata na mo buy no yehu na say ni o ha yegu so ye ho adwuma na Bank of Ghana so I study sa bank no so letter not buy for 7 days it's 7 days no so mo study we na Bank of Ghana so okay they more kan ye na mo ya adwene ye kan ye na mo nya adwene no ma san fra bank no aba no mo no di nkomo nti finally no o mo hwe na sanye ya aso no to make license no in all these two issues I can once away in all these banks no bibi etisa no ensi so be ka say deliberator odika
well Agya Kwabena chidema ya be fikan so I'm engaged in some reconciliation exercise with Hunter. It's been a long protracted litigation but by God's grace we are making progress.
Okay.
Nti maminchia nana kovenkatia.
Okay.
Nana kosiajeman. Nana ezieku hotopo hin Hunter penfu nyina de woma ikuru ni yeye onzi wonanyim sinde individual egos. Na ahemfo wa chichiremane na manfo so yaka ho chirema be African onye so eri adwuma endwene wadwuma fo nkoti edwene Ghana fo so nanano mo dwene ho traditional council na won dwene Hunter fo so a yenyi leadership won dwene ye ho na asomdwe ombra ho Agya Kwabena sama yerike yakane fourth time ni mo hwe me record yakane 4 times and I want to be consistent in my stand there. The banking sector fraud, which people call the banking sector clean up, for me it was a fraud. It was the most reckless decision as a country. Yeah. Look at the decision, I mean the discussion, the reasons are for what they talk or what kind there. Dominant or there, yeah. The reasons in that I can KPMG one reasons I want to go bank now. None of these reasons were featured. None of these reasons were featured. And I am surprised there. The Bank of Ghana or the Finance Ministry knew of this act here, Dr. Tuahene Obozini, and then he had to go violating it. So the Bank of Ghana and the Finance Minister last week we established there that even violated the Banking Act. Now they have also violated this other act. Now, if these people who are supposed to be regulators are violating acts, what will the ordinary people do? So Shakespeare says, if gold rust, what will iron do? this is the Bank of Ghana. The whole post deficit, 700 million, 600 million. This is the Bank of Ghana. Yet, you call a bank today, in view of the fact that you have not been able to manage the economy well, and therefore inflation is too high. You have not been able to regulate the currency exchange, and these things have direct impact on the banking sector. Because a cash loan, they are cut on petrol, a cash loan, they are cut on business, the interest rate at 23 or 24%, and one CDB, it loses 24%, at 24 CDs. Time the number of CDs, every Juma and that much money, and they put your bank out. It's my buyer in there, Abacao. Abacosa into your bank in Nisika, right? And therefore the bank itself becomes why default to the Bank of Ghana. Who there? You knew that these situations were there. The increasing capital adequacy from 120 to 400 million. Either abon somewhere more almost ban or this and height I want into manka no or dangle. And it was not only those banks. And I want to mean yes you can know. It was not only those banks. Now what's over here? Look at the unfairness. How many banks were involved? How many banks? So many banks. Dr. Nambwa, so many banks. Adentina Atuesian and Kwano Okoda prison. Adentra. Today is still in prison. What about others? What happened to them? Because the government did not have any basis apart from vindictiveness. And just the quest for wealth by some people. I told you, said the branch in UT Bank in Cape Coast. Now, you a friend saying, Uforiata Akofa in Cape Coast. When in Cape Coast, Kingsway, so they want Cape Coast, Kingsway High Street, Kingsway in here. Now, a damn busy, I say, that was UT Bank.
No
fancy no the school sentiment. It's here. Cape Coast Bank in here. Na you know her. Commercial bank or a competitor to a certain bank. No bank read an advertise to commercial bank. Nothing that. The committee was set a come through. I me peda me kade. One fan no crazy. Na pepper. This is not a time I'm paying back anybody. Because and then I may say Archbishop Duncan Williams. I say the power now Ghana for that man and this different. It should not be used to, as it were, score political points. So I'm sure that they will not be vindictive as other people did. But the point really is that I don't young there. 59 years ago to 60 years ago, now Kwame Nkrumah Ghana Commercial Bank. There is state insurance as capital accumulation for the country. Commercial bank is still viable. Now what has happened to SIC? What has happened to SIC? Almost collapsed because government businesses are what they were registered for SIC, what do you call enterprises. Truth must be told. On money bank in the 1 year, government business are whatever my private enterprises so close to the president. That is where the problem started. The personal greed of certain people, no problem, ABCA. It's not about MPP or NDC. It's about individuals who feel that one good thing to do when you see that's what has this far. So I'm asking that question. Agya Kwabena. Either 24th February best in 59 years old to come and come. 59 years. So it has been 59 years of retrogression. Because Kwame Nkrumah's view was that the economy must be owned by Ghanaians. The economy must be owned by Ghanaians. We removed him, we didn't and gave him all manner of names. Here we are. Here we are. There must be a president, and I believe John Mahama must be that president. That brings all of us together as Ghanaians without falsehood, without acrimony, without AMPP. We all must act as Ghanaians. Look, because Kwame, Agya Kwabena, as for intellectual capacity, we have more than enough. As a small country, we have more than enough. As if natural resources are abodo, hey, it's impossible here. It's too for my own good. Oh, sorry.
Do a biasa, ding na ka hubi. Na mani e.
You know, yeah, well, be biara yankupan. What is your mana? Oh, ye. Here, Burkina Faso. Burkina Faso.
Don't talk this one.
A young man, Abbasi. I don't want to be a puppet to anybody. I mean, be a puppet to anybody. Was step out of IMF. Mali step out of IMF. Are they dead? Country bearer or depend on IMF for his budget will never succeed. Country bearer there, who budgeting, you can afford only 35%. What can you now there from foreign donation? How are you going to succeed? Because every dollar will be a some down. And I'm what?
Yeah, bet you actually won't free.
Why not? If Burkina Faso can do that, why can't we do it? Burkina Faso. And can you miss the front? Burkina Faso. If they can do it, if the president, for example, says that prison for a good prison, which is equal, let them go and farm.
Oh, yes.
Is it not progressive? Now they are saying that tomatoes by a hair cut off by hand. They are doing a tomato factory. Meanwhile, Ghana had made a lot of investment, thinking that Burkina will forever depend on us. You're railway to Mpakadan because of Burkina and Mali, right? And many others. We should stop talking and start thinking. As a country, we should stop talking and start thinking. Yeah, Mr. Befi. Eko question we no go parliament in there. Ya for one anko debating society. Is me catch up. Ya for one anko debating society. Another yen certain law court for parliament. We went down to sit down and start solving our problems. That's why Ghanaians one. It's not about anybody's ego. Okay, since I was starting, here come match. First quarter, 2024-25, and what have you been doing? Argument. It doesn't mean anything. This is a timer. Well, you're better from there. Look, how are we reducing our food inflation collectively? What are we doing to our foreign exchange? What are we doing to solve our problems? It's free day. Dr. Kwachi, our economic sector, you want 10 days. Come out with a solution. Look at the banking sector, you want 20 days. We will solve the problem.
Okay,
look,
let's see what happens.
But let me land on this. If you go to Asia, and they know that most successful enterprises are family businesses. Toyota, Hyundai, in India, Papa Bakokra, not Wabetino, Uncle Bibiala, it is a kind of number 4, so in succession. Anyway, so they are the stores are what on material gotten with the bear 400 years. You know, so everything that people think cannot work has worked somewhere. Now, Yenzi, it is over politicization, falsehood, and figures you use no yano in the Ereka.
Anyway, and come on, you know, a baby drew state of the nation address mampani Mahama Didi kan okan ye no na the ntia me pese ye call back to Bank of Ghana ene ni say ye nya bank of governor foforo ono so bra obey ne hunsam ba ko menu me say be sore ye be say etena 2 weeks ago am ye di hu nkomo ama moka the how competent he is the amuni mu fa na ho mu di hu nkomo ama adu be bi adure ye hwe Dr. Esiama wo obey Dr. Addison ko niema hodo a esiye a enu nti ema ye banks makomako be ye nkono eguye a ya di hu nkomo eno Dr. Siama ba obey no yewura Dr. Kwachi Bank of Ghana ho no niema ben enesese Dr. Siama ye wo ho sai sama pani ahye ne so hwe ne sikasam no onane no eno no so ahye bo se ono so be hwe kwan so be ye ama niema hodo a ma sikasam nkoye no ebetumi agina in your experience as obi a ejuma Bank of Ghana na wasa ejuma o IMF no e no Bank of Ghana wa esese Dr. Siama di na ni koso paase na be ye beboa ama isikasam no ebetumi asore na nkonko di ahoho nsem se na sisi ye hunu ni
yeah okay sani last year kan wo ha no ye say ye ni je say at least Dr. Siama sani minimum no or rise through the system Bank of Ghana ho you know to the top. Fortunately first deputy governor so mama appointed
Dr. Zakaria
Mumuni and also rise through the system. Yeah, we are always happy say if you appoint Obia or no I pass it through the system. I just will name central bank, you know, very well. Need you expect say well already, you know, while expressing some intentions. There might be a person or any other. They hear from both Bank of Ghana side and Bank of Ghana and Kwan. The thing is that Bank of Ghana and Kwan cannot always succeed. You know, as I said, only Minister of Finance working together. We need both fiscal discipline and monetary discipline. The two should come together. Fortunately, you know, President, you know, the way our Kasano, in fact, we inaugurated well, in board, you know, board they're not yet. Both, you know, yeah. Siama name, yes. Or say, or Kansembia, which is very important. Or say. On for no emanent printing money. Because and I make say fiscal discipline and monetary discipline, both of them are necessary. Answer a bit to me and your long-term stability what they are. We say the previous administration, the Bank of Ghana, 2022, government ne force more printing sikama skakasiapa. Now, and no contribute to say destabilize this economy subsequently. In fact, inflation rises to 54%. Currency depreciating sharply. SARS economy Bank Ghana injecting into the economy, no, of course, one more reason they say, oh, they did that to save the economy, you know, from collapse. But as a central bank, and when where you act and they say you can only lend 5% of last year's revenue, now we'll lend this 60%. It's too excessive. So we are 10. Or 15 I can probably forgive you. And once a president will not commit and say, and you be holding him to his promise. Or say, I am not going to force you to print, you know, money. Okay, that's very good assurance. On Siama side, no, and also I come out to say inflation, or be making sure say, or be bringing inflation under control. If currency, no, so. You know, instability, you know, so better say, or better so be stabilizing. You know. And I'm saying, so Bank of Ghana and the government working together. This, you know, should be easily achieved. So Bako, any day way, so any day there. Then of course, we want to stabilize the system. Financial sector, so I can say, or more than say, or bring stability to the financial sector. We also expect to say, as we debate or Hano. Ghanaian ownership of the financial sector, no, you lose during the restructuring reforms, no. As I saw, we now try to say, restore, you know, Ghanaian ownership, no. Of course, a big need is strengthen the banks management, governance, and ABA, there may be the need to recapitalize the banks again because they say almost a capital now eroded by inflation, exchange rate depreciation, and they say it may be necessary to recapitalize the banks. Once more, and now, who here say you better introduce what we call safety nets in the banking system, in the sense that once the banks non-performing loans, see a cost and also affect your balance sheets in any other. There's a called credit reference bureau. I'm established already, but it is not working. On credit reference bureau, and say customers your credit situation only other no compile it. It be a okoboroska crafi baby outside. Cry say almost report to credit reference normal record
okay.
Because otherwise say we need some information on customers we between akoboroska no akoboroska ha but America say no so be boroska or hosane and say we report to the credit reference bureau near who said Dr. Kwachinkwa kojiska no more track or credit nti bibisa no yeah ebema no non-performing loans incidents high I reduce and banks so customers so see on see protect one you be a friend deposit insurance scheme I just say banks no yama almost contribute to some amounts to that scheme I just say bank be echo difficulty mo na be omo twintua customer deposits at least you between follow on that until you hear these safety nets also into the system. Yeah, when macroeconomic stability, fiscal discipline, monetary discipline, these safety nets, and then reinforce the supervision. Bank of Ghana has almost supervision of the bank. It's almost so reinforce
supervision.
Yeah, because lacks a supervision contribute to the problem of and so more relax it. Ribia so more bombarding said they will be ahead of the banks, In fact, it will even be a good idea, say one more banking supervision staff, Sometimes when the people call banks, Ako Trahopi.
Said the Kenya for
yes.
I am the Kenya Niba Bank of Ghana.
Yes, exactly. No more share banks, operating here, the one to say because the never banks no crab me hide it. Now all supervisor no crab won any other. Into banking supervision so there's almost strength. What can someone who be palm? We say they will say about tough and say a poor Dr. Chiamam also. Say a bit easy say between me and these local banks never back. A bit easy ama Dr. Siama. A bit easy ama buying. Esan said say foreign banks na say so mo no omo dimrika gidi ebe easy say betumi a catch up with them ana
well say the kwashika no it say ni nyina ye brofo na omo ta kan bi say creating enabling environment for indigenous citizens Ghanaians etomre bi a yen kasa ne say de utie his excellency kan wo hana yenye nipa ya ye pese ye boa ye ho manano me no try ha me catch kire how difficult to set a bank in Nigeria you dare not umusa Stanbic no mono Eco Bank they don't do better than the Nigerian banks because all my own say the way ye mo bi ma ho ye no so ye hu ne sa ye ba mu a sem se ye ba mu wi a nkofo no ba mu wi a ne bi o makotiti wi a mo madi but we just said the answer na papa Kofi American we need Kofi American say Ghana ni year profiter obe retain wa ha obe trade adwuma ni mu on match year be say you run match mu ne every next week you go he omo be transfer dividend treasury bills no ma be to anya so mbo busia dio koko omo be to treasury bills because treasury bills na 27% and how to 1 year say 100 billion or to ya 27 million I don't know more about no and you better declare. No more declare we are. O more the country say you tia tax we. E ko tia your transfer sika ko tia dividend. O mo say seed no ajake ko. Se Ghana ni na ye ya o kanka. nti ye de ye me ya say ye hu say ye no the doctor ka no enye banking ko o money o me 7 the yenye free money and paper bi am ko Bank of Ghana economic financial data almost the abrofo no matro o say last year Ghana exported $11 billion of gold. Mamen kan jiro me ba wo yare trofo bi na kan so wo yare e only 15% nti e 10 billion 1.5 ne baba kan Bank of Ghana nso wo kasa no mako kasa kakraka kade ye nyaye. It is normal. I don't know about former Chief Justice. The near the corner. Or can say me. Or see Gorgisburg economy. Yes, inside Gorgisburg agreement. Me tia hada no me catchro. Honorable me sell. Omunima, omunko Botswana. No mas inside. Yet you 15% it. And almost 2020. Almost 25. So see, I mean, okay, say almost 40% stake. Obi too gold. Or so sako. Oh yes, so I wouldn't be aware. Niema omudi be nyina tax exempt. Nti ye utia IMF wo say your tax exemption World Bank put the kind. It's about 3 to 4% of the GDP. Ni nyina ye sango for na be 2 months. Aden wo didi ha. Aden na wo South Africa. Ye gold ye to South Africa. South African gold companies are free ho. So the money doesn't go. Wo mutie on be transfer. Wo ko telecoms crowd ye say aye Obako for be fa de nti se de ni kromo o wa so ro ye mo dwuma o wie so a wonya ye o no san ye remittances kan ade na Ghana for ye dead bo so ananse ye dead aso obi no free ni kromo ba no o so be ye tabiku se wo ko hwe wo hwe on balance sheet ma sika fa remittances na me de kire honorable sika ye lusu remittances over the last 10 years and I me kan no makoya press conference. And I'm not digging. The last one, your Bank of Ghana one data. And I'm a digging. Ghana, elusu 10.6 billion in remittances.
Wow.
Media honorable financial.
That's it.
Data source now home akoma. Nso kaka pa. Na o maso ano. Senti Dr. Siama pese o mano sika sem gina. Koko ni ho. Uti koko na ti baba Mahama so kan. Honorable, the first time I cried when my mother died. When I heard about cocoa board, because cocoa board and former managing director Sapon, your friend said, "Oh, could you pay any more time?" It was one of the profitable institutions in Ghana. Now you catch it say, "Ya ton cocoa na jisikano." I think you be ship okutia.
Yeah, the cover 400 million.
Jesus Christ, Jesus, cocoa ya pusha. Uko abigo sa nyaba ni ton cocoa. This is not we no more to your farmers, no more to your taxes, no more to go no call. Yet you are creating monster, your friend a monster. And you didn't call for shape in a cocoa so we need 100. See a perceive any ya, said Professor Dr. Mahama pray honorable. The time no only ruthless to say pog, only to say link with you. Only link with her, only a baby will be added, only any in added. Many people say, yes, sir, man. Remittances. Data media chona. Yakokan so ana Bank of Ghana for bi ti ho no mo se o ma no mo yawe. My year research are published in international journal. I year outro say you lose remittance. You lost 10.6 billion over. It is 3 times bigger than the IMF loan. You say remittances in Nigeria, who Bangladesh. 95% of remittances are captured through the banking system. Yeah. Yako creating monsters bi wo baby and you go within you see omo blockchain omo ye tech what mean for sound call
you bet you e dey bet you area fa we ho doctor
yes emra payment settlement and services act 2019 act 987 and you go find crofo bi dey shey and you bam when kan no me Western Union MoneyGram and awayo me no ma ye adwuma ho nti na meka na ye catch us adwuma na hoje no commission basis say the anti sa o and once obenyi obi o ha no o series ta na sika na ka ho now ya print cd ni dey na why ko obi an konkodi akire ukoka am say oh they are partnering local partners bank. It is never true. They only started mami kan the Bank of Ghana muntie me muye bibia me won informant wo mu hwe October yi eno mo fa me game plan
last year October.
Nano, until here, Nano, Obabachre, when you remittance about October to December.
Debbie.
1.7 billion US dollars. It is like how extrapolate 1.7 called the next 3 months. And last year, and you bring over 5-6 billion remittances. This is so. Auditor General account remember. We so scale. Ade na ye kum ye ho nti at this abrante na wa ba no
Esiama Dr. Siama
so wetin am currency now gold dey woni bi because you turn your bed right cocoa si dey abode any ento bibia bi enti say we go for nti remittances in there opa won high enipa wa abrochire nyina ni emetena ho kan ben si ni betimi nya remittance because on remittances billion Professor Dr. Maha, Mr. Honorable, Okasa no and Health Service. What is more kind? You betia 280 billion. Only divided by 15, and we are talking about 18 billion within the next 4 years. Every 1 year, we are paying a debt of 400. It is ultimately capture remittances in now. And no crab betting a motia debt. Until the many have said, near baby or so only when in dia, on penny in dia for. Then the metra me can say, I did all queen ye, yam penny dear. Obi in dear bar, you be condemn this year. On king kind, on sna, or yes, sir, or be critique because our chance to critique you. Say any sir, or money be because the foreign exchange, you know, I say, never be inflation, money more. Foreign exchange engineer, and inflation rebel. Because you can't food inflation, no can food inflation. Papa, who got talk, and more. Wakoto nkukofu president say 400 million so 600 million nkukofu 600 million nkukoto nkoko ba na de koto na wuton dollar na wuton dollar ni 15 na dollar na nkasa ye 1 na wakopeja 15 na de aba ubeba na dollar ni sukwa akoye 18 nti na wakopeja inflation ni doso na de abehwe garden nti ye enam si ye ntimi ndua de sisi ye ya mpesi ye no ye import inflation. So inflation cannot be sorted out if we don't look at the exchange stability. It is a critical component. It is so many break when your source of currency no buanwa ebema is inflation period.
And then technical people na kasa no metie say din metie din me so me de me kuku ase middle school ni mu de kakra so etie ni din na yehwe honorable enma mampani ba na se bedwam no obekasa and any 3 days rather adwada no yawada no ema ne beka se de o man sikase mu sitie ene niama baku mienu miensa bi se de niama sitie okan o kirekire ne memu a most da me na mo be the true state of the nation address no se fly bi ni na me na mo so mo be de no
Ambo ben Monday.
And never been a war system no more a war mampani be kan e wo so na nase a mo position no mo nsan yes anete
you dey kan me da was bebre mpese me hwem of the kan about parliament parliament any debate in kwani your parliament we do a lot of work we did say with the experienced politician team when say parliament
say any debating society.
Okay, so to parliament we have a lot of work. We have oversight responsibilities. I mean, ministries and the committee level. Or the parliament, you might hear plenary, plenary or be debate issues. May have more approvals, but most of the work is done back office. Our committees, parliamentary select committees, and standing committees, hall, and yes, na me correct your account say parliament adwuma ye very broad them you and I need technical people to say penifo say ye nyom ye adwuma me jiri say
na afre me
and I make us say
omo for order
me no ka say
if no call frame
me no ka say odema Agya Kwabena no Agya Kwabena na wa kan just 1 minute bro Agya Kwabena bacho kind I will need from one
I will leave for Akosida this weekend.
No.
I will need to know.
Before I would need now.
Sorry, dear, no.
I mean, kind.
I had the sorry, dear, no. Or say, please get Dr. Chiahen's number for me.
No kind you I said it.
Okay, I will need some input from here during the debates on the SUNA of the SUNA.
And then he said, "Okay, say my colleague MP back home. Some tell me your number one. Now, what? I mean, that's how it is. So it means that Sunday is there, and that is what we need. The question part. Now, me person be kind of back on. I mean, to be anchor. I saw the banser. This is what we need. Not over politicizing everything and creating I mean a political system I'm a country so divided and everything about politics. Then over the years I've been saying it for some time. This year they say President Mahama should set record or to make history as maybe the only president after Kwame Nkrumah obetimi across all T's obetimi dot to all I's obetimi create problems I'm a country that turn around. He's the only person who can do it.
Why?
Do you know why? Because he's not going to call for election again. On election you. And you know, 4 years mandate. 4 years we wait here and bring any more around. And 4 years we any time. Come. Members of politics.
What you hear?
Because me about the fact say in Penifo way. Omkasa no omka politics background omka asema edaho oka ne ebetia ya be boye oka ne ebetia ya be magana ya ntuma gwagu from ne afa dumas and all and the fra. That is what they are doing now.
So Bob fi wonim se du ba bia pagifo echi o madwene obom se mo amoya manyofo no master tag wo mo we free ha we say so onipa na sama oka no so no
me buy and me ban. My imagine say today I will never be political.
Oh, so but I'm
just saying to you, sir. Because me say the person me come say that here. As it is, I'm a principled politician. I mean, from my days as a student leader, up till now, me hear politics. Me believe you say have to be very principled. Until me a principled politician. Me believe you say as I'm the address the be I wait me am my na kodani and I make catch will say impadifo e do ya no pay kire say omo de oman ni sisiye emu impadifo ntie no ntie o masopam emu impadifo ntie o masopam no mfanya adwuma not say Dr. Esiama our Bank of Ghana governor our nye na Bank of Ghana o deputy governor pay unim ntie no Ghana akọ IMF program not program pay I want peso you know say on look say opese oye de oye ne no ana e be the same results enya ne no. So it is not for the president to tell him what to do or to even issue a directive to him. Say me president make catch say go politician be that customer ne or chan e be say chinya no it make catch say the truth of the matter no question pie open say it is not for the president of the republic to tell him say me can't just say and print it. Me sure that I'm convinced beyond every reasonable doubt. Say no president ever. Every say Obama or person or share bank central bank say or much trauma interested. Where's the president begins? Because and the world is a global village and can't be a person then now so can't the already will be here no man no I be. Oh, that's the mayor. Will be any money now. I be now my CA, and nobody will want to be very disciplined as far as finance is concerned. It only be a inflation. I must send mine. Across the depreciation of the currency, the other currency. Until they make her say, "Here we see ma." Answer the member answers 1-1. Also the team say, order, not President Mama and then President. One day drop it. You know, and yet. President Mahama was all catching no. I also don't know who. Say Ghana, ne nkwanim. Say be kwanim no. Ejina no pass kese. Is kese. Eti no omo na boso mu ye. Onka from aboso mo.
So about that on the 5th.
Over boss one money yep. Oba shine committee of the whole.
Okay.
Oba
committee.
Oba share parliament now. As Kanka.
Okay.
Who's the parliament? You share committees. But committee back who are very committee of the whole now. You share chamber.
Okay.
As Kanka.
Okay.
Leader Mama Yaga the big dinner. Okay. Job is shine on the feet. Enti make us say eh said ye on say also boa mo man no ejam na so e be bi o hu say maybe agana ekeka kono me dia say emu mpanimfo anye determined some be boa man na we about finished I'm catch Ghana ye in area me say going forward as a mine dey pe say yenya and say benya oman a emu ye oman a ye nyina hu say on my way there, and your map and another everything I've been inheriting Papa Free. I said, yeah, bringing in I know on Boba Shadow. You are bringing and then now, Penny, if you say no cover discipline and they cover in discipline, yeah, here, man of the same. Now, make up, they now question of you see, on Penny Mama, maybe a trade person, you know, I mean, on Penny Mama, maybe Jesus said, maybe a hot mouth kaya or consider my own theatre, but. Ebi also ka ebi wo wanka ho asem ana o selective o yi bi free mu anka bi
ya na wanka
ebi am be kan nyina ba but me person answer na me ka eno no me ka something about sinking funds that sinking fund issue equity or necessary problem I mean see the bankers were high in economy me gidi say enye sa fund do enko an yedi schedule esie edi ya oman ho asebafa edi bo oman me jinsa enti no ebia omampani e wotubukọ eyusu sa fan na de ye adwuma ebia omampani we on na ban no be try so be use a different arrangement and just a fan back ni ho fan back no ho ebia
na sika wo mu no obi beto ye na no use ye no so ko no de bi to ho
emra president Mahama ofi okono sika na was sinking fund dum 300 million US dollars.
Okay.
Now 300 million US dollars now. By just 2017, first quarter of 2017, now your bills will say tuya, and I do Ghana debt I do. I will say tuya. The boy who ran almost about 1.7 billion. It's a case of in a crowd tuya. It's kind of baby. It's where they are, or maybe ever build the buffers, or maybe and mpedifo motel omunim so we build na buffers now we build all this kakra sisi ato se dache ho kirewa now they abo ho bra and we sure say anya sa and it be nya ska to ho ma ban say first quarter we
DDP
ometibia twaka DDP no we created that template when you say ye ni mpedifo ni shy e ade a be abatros be da ban ko unum sa and aban and we say, okay, we have to sign an agreement with these bondholders. You don't share payment plan. Payment plan, no, Abai follow through. First payment was done in August. Second payment was done in, I think, October or so. And the next payment was in February. When you make it provision, must have demanded that. That's why I did try. And Master make us say, "Hono, a manin koye say sinking fund na omampania tro or say sinking fund." Ska $64,000 US dollars and 143 million cedis. I mean that is very unfair to the system. Menka say size can in but just on a can fufro. So the match is a match we. Ebio o mine yebu your foreign reserves and kawanso man pedi kawanso and one kawanso. I mean, this is something that also come on Kawasam. Because you're increasing foreign reserves, no? I mean, which means that Ghana is doing so well in that area.
Really?
I mean, there were 3 to 4 months export. I mean, they are converted to 4 months export. But the president didn't say anything about the foreign reserves. I didn't hear. And one Kawasam. They say, me waha, say, me Ghana will do, me podcast party will do. Mr. Obapenisa say we enya onka say we so here. That is what we are expecting the president to do.
In reality no na figure na idea na wo kan ya wo hoye no nanka ɛso so ka se na be ya obi hu say one kan nti obi benya adwemi say aban na anye bi
that is what I'm saying.
Okay.
It is a who ka say sinking funds can say ya ka say we say but what I say then it will that is exactly the point I'm making. I'm trying to make a point to you say ye bu o man no e wo say wo bu o man a e ne bu o ha wo say to be o ma akonta enye sa ne kan o ma akonta o bu akonta o man no ne obetu nie e na wo ka ho asema kire who say in the pharmaceutical maybe a trade person in the pharmaceutical industry no in the history of Ghana it is gay MPP government set a record intentionally capacitating 3 companies to be able to say all this while I think Ghana hano anytime at WHO any procurement biano Ghana pharmaceutical company be no qualified before.
But it's more 3.
By saying no, we intentionally, I say, building 3 companies. Tobinco said, "We want to be a jump now, so that WHO procurement we helped in that in the area of pharmaceutical manufacturing. Yeah, they also in the area of garment and textiles because in the area of garment and textiles, no, but for just recently, about just some year or 2 ago. Ghana issues kakra and now Ghana was the leader in the sub-region as far in the area of garment and textiles. I mean, one of our anchor tenants or investor or investors, one of our firm DTRT. DTRT no control a chunk of the market. As I'm talking to you now, no more employ almost close to 10,000 workers in this country are not omnia support, omnia partners of US. We're doing so well. I'm just trying to say, baby, that's what I'm saying. It don't mean come every day, no do every day. So now come and send me your issues come home. Where the main issue I remember come
I don't know what can not offer them in us.
So now what deliver speech.
But they know I'm speaking the truth. These are very
it's your novel. As well, okay, in India, say interesting. Who say President Akufo-Addo also Emma Nisona and chair cry as an current president so a good pass constitution no make a provision for that. They all call no be money there. Yeah. Me feel say politicians mu ina sa na mu. President Akufo-Addo also creating impression say the economy was doing very well.
No, so Uncle say
negatives no normally one kind negatives.
They can say what but at least so they me and me buy my hand my pa. But me buy about I guess but I didn't be sure and just to meet these noble people. For the first time in my life, at least getting their contacts, or my political life. Ain't no cry. I was here, can I say, on my penny can be one chain. They here, Ghana, yeah. I'm a Ghana, a drum pen, so be a man, public council. You, or say Ghana, opposite all the policy, more new policy, 24-hour economic policy. 24-hour economy, no, it can only rest on the real sector of the economy, especially so in the area of manufacturing. Yes, sir.
I can't
because because I mean, in the sectors I want, maybe a bit your friendly probably the manufacturing sector. And the manufacturing sector, no, here in Ghana, as we sit down, a private sector driven, whether we like it or not. I don't know now on penny at the policy about a come and penny at the policy from the policy of 1D 1F ABBA a creative 1D 1F policy. Let's say 2 companies can be part of the 1D 1F. Either the company is a greenfield company or a brownfield company. And on my penny creating about 169 private sector led businesses at various stages of implementation. One can answer.
I don't need the one businesses.
169 1D 1F companies at various stages of implementation. They be nim and in the kind of the caveat they be nim say 1D 1F policy no I dey ba parliament no okay policy they say 1D 1F company can be a greenfield company, a company if you say from the scratch. See I can say Agya Kwabena company or start after now being cooperative business no now start arrangement and a company so e award that e be a person will diversify on operations and I say person will expand. They can also be part of the 1D 1F company. It master the set at least for the purpose of at least policy I would back the policy of 24-hour economy policy. I didn't say bet me abuamo
manufacturing sector
no. I was like
now manufacturing sector na wo in reality say wo ho kese wo ho a ebetuma ka say weni 160
I was here fierce your baby
169 and it said those one can any problem
109 at various stages of implementation. And I make a tell say was here you know yeah system whilst we are working hard I was a company boy abaso at the trade ministry say at least yes points this year we had the balance of trade surplus no I say we had an achievement I was say on my penny also can answer no me obisa me question say the end of my penny anka yes and obisa and I mentioned to baby me kasa the okan me kasa me can the one say the day who say this time my penny be journey my me on can say all can we so can we
so na for so onka we so
baby you wada for madam no man give me for catch and to say una we mo ba we metia e can say madam Roma onka we are you kind of cheap I mean in parliament that's all. Well, one of the things that he had to go for him say, yeah, this 9th parliament will go down in history as parliament that you support to man be better than any parliament.
Wow.
Yes, we're making history because for the first time in the history of this parliament, parliamentary system, this is the first time my president are making nominations. I am go through the standard processes. Young going them, you will be. Because we know president Emma nominations or nominating go for right and then you veteran. Oh, be that at least we have to publish. I can't. People can bring a memoranda, submit memoranda on these individuals at least for 2 to 3 weeks. But I mean, they will into a buy and a parliamentar on person of mind because of the we gave them support and we supported almost all of them except one person or two. But the support, we agreed on, by consensus. These people are qualified to serve as ministers of the state, and we have given them support. And we want to pledge that we are still ready to support them. But the and the lie.
But that's it.
I don't know. The as I'm talking to you now, we know Parliament. Voters in hotel. Parliament now.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, voters in, but the minority are boycotted. So we are here. We are in Accra.
Are they?
Yeah, we constituencies here. You perceive a chance. Oh, there are a lot of things. It can't be seen me offered. Your kind of thing. Sure. The NRA is here. I know, and then yet. Obi principled. Bia should be able to stand by his or her words. Okay, say no idea and then yet. You who say, "O mampeni any kind of food nani." Wakachre say, "Or obey o mampeni mo gana ni bia." Yeah. Obey a recruitment because o mampeni or told that who say or mandate to continue ruling until na baby. So yeah, the one ya the kwasam yeka. Yeka say if you matro who say yen terminating nkofo and revoking of appointment. Na kan no kwa ponye say revocation of appointment now has been extended to nkofo aye from 2017 ya. That is so serious. Omo be near building. Go to Ghana Exim Bank. Ghana Exim Bank. Omo aye from 2020 2022 2000 young lady.
Yeah, you might dissolve Munkofi and Uncle Tenefi, no Munshaw Munsa.
What is the meaning of that? We should be very sincere to the people of Ghana. My point is that Adia Enyen run and yet what the Opa me, would be enemy. Would they move for very long time? But they're making a name or making the same thing.
Yeah, for will be 2020 and 2022. Near Son Kofia. What is the basis?
What is the
No. I'm can't say.
So the same location now, the same.
No, but no.
That's what has happened.
Then they can challenge that.
So we are going to court. I'm just saying we're going to. But is that the case?
It shouldn't be.
That shouldn't be the case. Yeah. So the point I'm making to you is a young minority. We think, the Penini and Nini, only Ghana and in solidarity, we say Ghana for young people. And we say we are boycotting everything. We wanted to even boycott the Sona, but for the fact that you pay President Muhammad Sam, then the TET. You say we're not going. It's not about they say we are talking about principles. Okay. And you're about to say obi ye be right and obi ye be. And you're make a principle say. Baby, and make a sample FM sometime back. The dada, a chum, which you can see it. Or make a not on a West Lausu, no more to I don't know, to revoke licenses of some radio stations. Me push them.
Okay, but that's it. Mammy call Dr. Tia and my boss answered. Mammy call Ambassador San Pierre. So now. What say some more kind say Mampenini and in Ghana for any ye and unti and original so there ye or born them who do be so. Send them who do be a one come. I mean, so to be you say you were 15 minutes. It's my mouth be not any apple. Hey, I feel never come on some more.
Yeah, move be back now.
Sorry, sir. I'm painting indeed or a selective ampa. Send there in summer our dog can one canina. But I believe that young on Minister of Finance, Obama, building the budget, which give the the empirical intention of government. It as the Sikasami, whether me Misikamu only. Me can know your bogo. State of the nation address budgeter being for Martina from what critique what kind of man or koi and don't koi on them with him. Now, Mr. Murphy, you said this with the Beffy, Mr. Beffy. Yes, sir. Honorable Beffy, we didn't know. Now, Erica there, a man paying a sinking fund, but one can other fund. It's a Magana Fonte other fund that was set here. No man paying a sinking fund. Next one can ye. No mum, there are other things on that. Now I suspect that back other funds are establishing. O man paying one can get fund. The get fund in so set you. It is Anwa. Sana Mukano. Our area can Anwa. O man paying one can. O man paying an cade. Yes, so sika. Sika. $12 million there. You the case for Lugudam, but damn you. I'm paying one car. But you're with you. The man say, but make correct answer. No, correct you for I saw make can say. Nothing was invested in that project. Don't just as my can say we want to invest this into the project. Or how you describe it? It's the capital come on. The auditor general report check them. What the man? Nothing. A dime. It is say you can say no. But you can't follow. One city, you can't one city. The auditor general report, what they call vetting committee, a committee of Addison, saying that we have made a final payment of 12 million. One sika government of Ghana sika. Yes. That's in your hands. No, it's not there. Okay.
So,
they're just talking about it. I'm just telling you. No. Because anyway,
you're very interested.
It's a sky train issue. No, almost government pumping $2 million. Out now, Kebian Nko
baby, sir.
I mean, you know it. Don't take call.
Or see of a due process.
No, because see, a build transfer, build transfer.
Yeah.
A BOT arrangement, but of financial consultant. How does it work?
Until there's a Ghana couple.
No, BOT, how does it work, sir?
Okay.
And Obi na BBC at the end. Yes, sir. And Ghana sike go me there.
Okay. We are Mati. Yeah. Very shame. Na ya mo aba. Sabre now so
make us a full will.
Oh, let them catch the politics. Yet here kese nkrofo pi retain.
Yeah.
Tidema obi osi Dr. Tuano for no man be. Yes sir. Peko Agya Kwabena nhwe ne ya obi the auditor general reporting Odbasan no say.
Okay, yeah, train sir.
Na say o man bit the Ghana. Mo point am new boko. Bebe mo train state house one. State was headed by Range Hospital one. Why did you damn you? What in chance ano jide no kwa makuma kachiro. They have spent $52 million.
I will say basically be able.
Sikabia no so sikabia le. Anyway, Ghana for what to Obama, President Mahama, no Obama the State of the Nation address. You expect them to Agya Kwabena King, them why also by a true State of the Nation address. But let me go back to my reference to the debate in society. Chief, say if in discussion, Agya Kwabena, you can say MOB time, and MOB time. I can't wait to be so nadrin. No, but for Nankuti, no unlimited time. Obisa 126 questions. No, the baby will catch the Dr. Chahini and Dr. Kachi, who see a Santino say, and yes, I'm Duanam Ray. Enjoy us, American. What I wanted to say in your day, you can say, I could grab Casola, you know, Casola, yet to Obama MPs. All right. Identify that there were very serious crisis in this country. I want to see you debating about how you solve food inflation. I want to see you debating about how we are going to transform this economy. Leave the NDC and MPP. Emba Parliament or for MPP or for MPP. They call you as member of Parliament for Nkoko Anambwa. That is the role you should play. Instead of NDC for the national anthem. MPP for the national anthem. Why? I'm talking about Parliament. I'm talking about MPP. I'm talking about Parliament. That's what I meant today. We expect a certain standards from our parliamentarians, right?
Okay.
I want you to contempt, Mama, of privilege committee. You see, look, Agya Kwabena, yet you hear it. At any time, last week, Monday, at the prayer for the bomb. It's not the permanent term, no. People watch us, my former count. It is my former TV. No, here parliamentarians, no, you don't go. Parliamentarians know what to actually are. Nananum pronounce Nyanya Baka. The adopt a brown mobile one on first on saying it could be there other countries walking to but chief, does it mean that other countries parliament? Please, imagine don't know now once there, kind of yampe.
Okay, that's it.
Now, Dr. Siama, just a point about him. Meaning the survey on the manifesto committee. Now, from a street economist. Street or from him street economist because what can you see we are you will be someone there to case it the man on the street how does the economic policy only not the approval or campus Teresa hey what what a Siama should do there he as a single Ghanaian has been given that onerous responsibility. The other or many. Tire obiana na hom kanon. Me peda mo koto petrol musika butu na wato. Me peda mo to pan in the Ghana pan no ko no boy as minimum wage. Agya Kwabena, no 25 cities.
Yes.
Minimum wage oya 19 cities. This is not a country that Ghana we want. I want the Ghana Nkrumah started. The Ghana you barely feel there or you're proud or you're Ghanaian. Now I'm cutting them brand samba. What's so line in their hundreds open. You use your national resources to train young people and they run away. Because there's a problem. And that is why we have elected you MPs. In your oversight and your responsibility, you don't sit there managing a crisis. Now, even going to IMF, I have competition of pride. What is that? All right. You see, the youth of this country, I agree with you. That if Mr. Mahama doesn't succeed, the democracy will also fail.
Yeah, and then you're right.
If you all don't stop our politics, if we all don't stop NPP, NDC, CPP, whatever, what we should be talking about is Ghana. No matter who you are, bring it aboard. And then answer, small boy, or technical university, no catching the chief. Equipment here, President Mahama Effendi acquired to you. So I'm here, it will end up on rocks. The way we distribute into this assemblies, because assemblies now when you plan, I will be using them equipment, drip machining. So why don't we convert it into a national emergency road repairs, whatever, as a joint business of joint enterprise of the Ghana Armed Forces, local government, and the Ghana Contractors Association? I said, wow. I said, wow. Then let me send there. So how do we fund it as our chief? If we say 1% of the common fund should go into that enterprise, the Ghana United one farmer the margin, because road is a major problem for all of us. Yes. You know, it's coming from a small mind, a small boy with a great mind. I say, Ghana, we don't lack resources. What we have in excess is over politicization. I like this program because of the people are and let it be like that. You know, let it be like that there. And the technical people, more of as a politician. Since you are assembly on Jamutu Makan, but if John Mahama does not succeed, the whole country will fail. So please, me please there. Ghana for Obia funny politics on phone to phone.
You bet me.
Oh, you bet me. Media for media. Muna set agenda. Say take Ghana between 7 o'clock to 10 o'clock. It's all about politics. It's all about politics.
Not issues.
All your programs here about politics. We are the that's what you do. So it is not only the politicians, the media should also play a part.
Dr. Chiahinene, Dr. Kwache, some few minutes. Doc, now also will be a couple of
minutes. Let me country honorable Bessie. What do you say? Budget you cry, you. What's all the way away? Send free room.
Budget in here.
Oh, any IMF program. Bank of Ghana, for instance, capital. And so as operational cost, operational cost is getting up and up and up. Only capital. And then they say Nipano salaries in the Indeed, so we be a balance. Because you see, that honorable cano, or man drew me who for Mecca. A true baby, a point of no return. We call both from the office and embassy. As some honorable can back us on my motion come. As some Bonini catch up from me and Secretary said, I deal with Pa Mahofadia. Someone to me in your movie, move with the Arab Spring. Okay, I'm saying, well, see, people are so fed up with the system, I say. Professor Prempe, lawyer, all kind similar things out. Say you practice be say democracy be ni politics be na enye nipa na ye wo mu anka politics na o mu boan emoy enra papa honorable pastor your constitutional chairman o kan me hwe ni din na o say asem nkrofo gigeke nti honorable ye be sro yi bu nkotodwo wo anim ka che wa mamanyofo ni say this should be a turning point. You bet me abaye link you Singapore crisis ba and the man be pagani
e be dey atua ye we because e bia say say ka say no e bia ne say na honorable Befi ka say parliament ni na ka so moko e fa pose voter bi and so minority say wo monko because ya revoke adwumayefo bi nti ya say
emre bi atwam o bi ye bi and I said the honorable cano o say what you asan work o say obi ye obi na so be ye bi dia ni ye be ye ni sa the enti ayen ko de ni see 2016 ni 2017 can we sit to ask ourselves
but when nya adia
said the fire and I work
something very
baby they make an say obi timi ni wa come there see a person put here on his excellency some PL see a person ko anima say say yi sa de free ho because mo here me be ban kwa mo nya ba bia mo betra na maka I put it to you na to aba na because the economy na e kire say nipa ho ato it is nothing to write home about say we yare na okoto adura say yen pensioners adura wotimi to no say 400 a month e kwa say 1000 cedis nti adura man to so obewu nti adenti ne yen hwe saa eniema no e ma ho hia ni enya e say we ya beka say na we ya beka say ya nya ne saa democracy na ye krata and enye nko na si nti omo wani amanyofo no me ni na issues na wo ye nim no the sectors are all bleeding road health you can't say anything school nso omo nyina woni mi si ya ni o Prempeh college ye ko Prempeh college no hwe se so go school Prempeh college ani amon say omo ko no omo timi yesa masa ye di banana no muni onu za no bom ye ko di ko chese na de na mo de mo wi se ye betimi ayesa
say do bibi ko ka say ba ma kora bia hot beverage
yeah just some in conclusion just 2 minutes well me can say economy there is in a deep crisis in fact what president Sona's speech no in fact near maybe cry what discover na yen cry economies now you need that data you know just especially debts no arrears you know various sectors you know health sector road sector ECG energy baby just arrears it looks like previous government you know they were spending but not paying they were running the economy on their arrears and they take a lot of resources and where to me I feel all these you know holes in there. Now President Mahama unfortunately you know a very strong mandate you know from the public and if he says so or leverages our mandate you know and so far the way I see him you know was started very well you know utie the way he speaks nema person or any idea I'm say or learning while learning the lesson from the first experience. It's a good idea, say, Abia president be a chance to come back a second time. I'm saying it's a good idea. You have name Ubesia Efi previous time. Inti Umusa he is committed and all that. We need support to be successful, and of course with the support of God. Me feel I'm very hopeful. The science and me I'm very hopeful.
Let me back to me and yeah me can say you who say abembia ba obokego mo beto aso e ma enye adwen ma enye say o ma panye kufa nko na bae wa metuka bia e no nko na criticize kawe we shouldn't see it like that e won say o man ene ye nti wo betuka wo betu ensem ho obubu bia ka ho na nyina yo man ni yedie na man ho adwuma ye enti man nye ye say obi pe and I'm
so me come there.
So ka order. So try be to what you say. I don't from 122 billion to 761 billion.
But we have also made a lot of payments. We didn't come to meet this.
Papa, one minute.
In rent say I walk Ghana. What's in the Ghana? They call 700 billion. And in the economy you have, it will take 35 years to be repaid. That. Oh, you send there. You have to some pain if you create the system. And more from when you money. You create the system. I'm more from when you money. You have a course in the exam open. And what I want to say in there, MPP for a conference na one kwano. It's a great disservice.
But your conference there,
ma who na one kwano.
A parliament and one year,
parliament.
And yes, you must work. Na
manko.
Parliament.
Who said that here, sir?
Be a year,
but who here parliament?
Minor.
The parliament.
Speaker na.
O say o minor boka 722 billion.
Yes.
Billion. Now we don't see akudwa so undi 2 man kwa abobosia 50 billion. 50 billion in the local domestic market. I said I'm not coming. You could buy just sign off them and come from baby could just let me shout.
Me da se papa Befi na na no pen koma ye die ye ni mu se kura no afi na ka ye de ama no ne no say some are due to be paid this year. I'm say financial experts no bo be kire say eka na ye ntua no ne ka ye ntua no afi ye be hya se atua meaning say say sika dodo no a esan eko sika na esanya bi e de kan wo se na be a ye betumi enti enye mresa be de pa ni nyina ne say ye nyina ye be hye sapo musu san say ye ya e ma be hye dwuma de ya se me kan sem bi na makoso aka say oman no say ye ankyekere a obi nkyekere ma ye da say ye de ya makasa semu ya kan na menum sese bia ye mu binum kasa sabe enye se bia ne kana na ye de na mu ne ye ntwa bibi fa firi mu kakra na ye hwe se ye de bi tu babi ne ye bi fi babi a ebetumi amama na tumi akoda nimu ana nti anope ma menna ye mpanyifo ya se papa ne omomre ese de ombebe fie ha da bia sanse hia omopa meda Dr. Etuahene oye banking consultant meda na se pa doc obeba Dr. Etuahene obeba onu se oka no fa ne time ni agoro mo si 8 o'clock about 7:30 no ha and no what o shema me kakran so dia bende me fa ne sa ti doc meda se papa and afi Dr. John Kwachen so wono so obenfo abenpa empefo ye ka o masemu inu se wo ni o ma di nkomo one on one a and am say ye kasa knowledge a o mu bi pa nti se tapo ansana obombra aso and afi honorable Michael Ochirbefi enkane na ono ye pania order free zones board ano and ono kriya so yem na shebedwa ba new job in south about to pursue war Koforidua last weekend and now chopepepe mini share Koforidua nso to ntumi ani nkomo and afi ambassador Sampiale wono so NDC professional forum no waka ho and wo bai now president oni na edwom tirani edemasa ekuo no wie anope ma mefa sa ho kwan na mefa yakokese mpa ema kwasi donto ufi UK na ba o ma medafoma ye gya no kwan e wo St Mary de Porres enede ya wo dansoman enti oba penyin Regina efua baba Arthur onyefie de wotwe kono enti anope me mamu hyeden pa nyakopon adoma ye nyina bebeta mo achi na ye titi nsem bi opani asoma banda bebe obia ne bebe na busuafo obia no ye checha mu nyina ye checha asoma banda busua nyina biripam de omu bia na be mama hu na mo no ye be sori so yi kakra meka ne sori so ne se hwe se hu se ye be dan se abo akoto na ye nyina wo bomu sanka esi etume boa nanka ye pie mako de obedi kan pie no ebe kyerɛ sɛ me fa ha nti so fa ha obetumi apie ye nya ne sana mo no ye betwe ye ho aba akyire ye betwetwe ye ho a obi fura kakra no wadu ane ye twe ne ba akyire a omeka nyina bom de ya ye nkwan no mawe so man ya tutu ne ma bi ye ebe ha yen nti mesra ban sɛ owura rande abe cocoa board nsam wo ho ye be so sefo odi ko pa BBC adwuma ye fo nso munya bibi fa ma omo sasɛm no ye nya aka nne enya aka kyere sanse PBC mpanyifo ho ama PBC aye PBC no they are still there. What are they doing there? Me did Agya Kwabena bada team na se ye ho aye adomo a ene na wotwe ye be san hia akra mu nyina ama mu nyina mo.
TVS. Opa check Euro Monitor International from Knowledge. Let me tell you about higher.